Yeah. 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 Welcome to Shoot the Breeze, episode 239, here on the Bitter Medicine Podcast. You are hearing the voice of Jacadero filling in for Brother Koku. Last week we had a bit of a hiccup. But don't worry. We are making sure that never happens again, let alone this week. Once again, I'm Jacadero filling in for Brother Koku here on Shoot the Breeze, episode 239 on the Bitter Medicine Podcast. Oh, before we go on further, again, what you can expect on tonight's show, of course, South Africa. Can they get their act together? Also, segregation or problem solving, looking at an all-black girls' school here in the United States. Also, the recent Supreme Court ruling over voting. Are we bringing back things that maybe our ancestors were fighting over? And then also, an older gentleman or an older woman, did they have any impact on you as a child? Again, this is Shoot the Breeze, episode 239 on the Bitter Medicine Podcast. Let's go ahead and get you guys familiar with the Bitter Medicine Podcast Network.
You are listening to the Bitter Medicine Podcast on KWAZ Radio. Welcome to the Bitter Medicine Podcast, where it's all about Black empowerment. Our show focuses on Black news and entertainment, arts, science, economics, history, people, and strategies that uplift, empower, and motivate Africans within the diaspora. And now, your host, whose favorite color is black, Goku.
Welcome back to the Bitter Medicine Podcast. I am your host, Koku. Just want to remind you guys before we get the show rolling that this show is part of a podcast network called KWAZ Radio. There are other shows on the network you are invited to tune into.
This is D Webb with the Harsh Reality Podcast, asking you to tune in where we tackle the news of the day that affects our community, only on KWAZ Radio.
Peace, family. This is Oni, inviting you to listen to the Pro-Black Perspective, where Black problems are addressed with Black solutions.
Greetings, fam. Tune in to The Learning Curve with me, the Revolutionary Matron on KWAZ Radio.
You are listening to the Bitter Medicine Podcast on KWAZ Radio.
Yeah. Once again, thank you for tuning in to Shoot the Breeze, episode 239 here on the Bitter Medicine Podcast. Man, do we got one hell of a show for you guys before we get into what you need to do while watching this show, as far as maybe giving your thoughts and perspectives or just being alongside us and building. Let's build. Let's go ahead and read the chat. Trigger Happy says, back and better than ever. Yes. We are back and better than ever. And why not? Why not? We have to be back. That's right. What's going on, Trigger Happy? Lord of Slaughter gives the RBG. What's up, Lord Slaughter? Peace. And Pan-Africanism. That's right. And Koku911 says, roll call. Where's everybody tuning in from tonight? Drop your city. Psh. For those that don't know, I'm here out of Omaha, Nebraska. That's right. 402, stand up. D-Web says, peace, family. Peace, D-Web. What's going on? Speaking of the family, guys, we are part of a network that you probably heard earlier. Let's go ahead and remind you of what network that is,
You are listening to the Bitter Medicine Podcast on KWAZ Radio.
This is D Webb with the Harsh Reality Podcast, asking you to tune in where we tackle the news of the day that affects our community, only on KWAZ Radio.
Peace, family. This is Oni, inviting you to listen to the pro-black perspective, where black problems are addressed with black solutions.
Greetings, fam. Tune in to The Learning Curve with me, the revolutionary matron on KWAZ Radio.
You are listening to the Bitter Medicine Podcast on KWAZ Radio.
Well, like I said, guys, welcome to the Bitter Medicine Podcast, Shoot the Breeze, episode 239. You guys heard it, right? But this is part of a large network. And not only can you be part of the network, but you can be a part of this entire family. How? We have a Discord. That's right, the Bitter Medicine Podcast Discord. Go ahead and get yourself involved. That's right. You can go ahead and add in whatever topics each and every Saturday that we can discuss on, we can provide opinions on, and as well as you can connect with other like-minded Pan-African nationalists. That's you, again, on Discord, the Bitter Medicine Podcast. As far as the panel tonight, if you don't only want to chat and you want to be heard, literally, just like the way you're hearing me, you're hearing this voice. I'm Jacadero, filling in for Brother Koku. You can go ahead and click on the link. That's right, you see on your screen? You see that? Click on the link. It's StreamYard. That's right. Go ahead and click on the link and get yourself here. Come on now. We want to hear from you. More as far as comments go. Bakari says, peace and Black African power. Black African fam. Peace. Brother Bakari, what's going on? What's up? What's up, Brother Bakari? What up? What up? What up? Lord of Slaughter said, I'm on the road, in response to Koku 911's question of the roll call. Where's everybody tuning in from tonight? You on the road, huh? You on the road. Where are you on the road to? Are you in Mali? Are you heading over to those anti-government rebels that are trying to disrupt everything that the alliance, the Sahel Alliance, and those brothers have going on? Is that you? Huh? Are you on the road right there? Anyways, man, before we get into the topics, let's introduce who we already have on the panel today, huh? Let's start off with Black Steel. Black Steel. Hey, man, peace and Pan-Africanism. What's going on, Black Steel? How are you doing today, man? What's going on?
I wish I had a fraction of your energy, brother. I really do. If I could bottle it up and sell it, I would buy a whole case. I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. How about yourself?
As you can hear, I'm in a great mood, man. We had a bit of a hiccup last weekend, but check this out. Black Steel, we're not going to do that. We've got to be better each and every day, 1% better. And I appreciate you adding in that we got the energy. We have to have the energy, Black Steel. Come on now. I appreciate you, Black Steel. And Buana, welcome to the show. How are you? And good evening.
I'm good, Jacadero. Shout out to you and Black Steel. I didn't know they were selling like meth in Omaha, Nebraska. I'm good though, Jacadero. I'm glad to see you with all this energy tonight. I'm glad that you're here, brother.
Yes. Why not? Buana. For those that don't know, me and Buana, we always go tit for tat as far as little jabs here and there, but it's all love, man. We're all brothers and sisters here. Also, let's welcome in Brother Bakari. Bakari, peace and Pan-Africanism, man. Good evening. What's going on? How are you? And welcome to the show.
What's up, man? What's up? I'm calling in from Jackson, Mississippi. I ain't gonna be on here long. I just wanted to give a shout out to my son who graduated today from the illustrious I Love Jackson State University with his degree in accounting.
Man, big
Congratulations, Brother Bakari, man. Congratulations to your son. Hopefully he will have a wonderful future and doing the things that he gonna do for the future, brother. Shout out to you. Congratulations, brother.
Yeah, man. Thank you. And a shout out to his fiance, his future wife. She graduated today too with her degree in accounting.
them both, man. Big congratulations to them both. Once again, man, we got a live show just for you guys. When I say live, not only in the situation as far as time, but also it's live. We got a lot of energy going on in the chat. Lord of Slaughter says, I wish, in response to my question about him, he said he was on the road. Yeah, I asked him if he was on the road, him or her. I don't know who this is, but him or her, if they're on the road in Mali, going to tear up those anti-government rebels that's trying to destroy everything that those brothers in the Sahel got going on. Kofi, man, he gives greetings as well. And look at that. The Bitter Medicine podcast gives greetings. Lord, man, come on now. We got a lot of greetings. All right. Before we get started as well with the first Shoot the Breeze topic, hit that like button. Come on, hit the like button. Don't you want like-minded individuals to know what's going on? Come on, that can only happen is if the algorithm works in our favor. And that means you. Big engaging, huh? Go ahead and hit the like button. You can leave a comment as well, but hit the like button. Come on now, what's wrong with you? Hit the like button. All right, let me stop. Go ahead and yapping like Lord of Slaughter says. I'm him, Jock. Come on, man. Oh, my bad. My bad. You Himothy, huh? All right. Let's get into our topic number one for Shoot the Breeze, episode 239, and it reads, can South African get their act together, or South Africa? Again, this comes to us from the Shoot the Breeze topic sections of our Discord. Go ahead and get involved in the Discord. You can just share your topic. So let's just say that they meant, can South Africa get their act together? We have 2 video prompts that deal with this. Guys, let me know, and I know you will, but let me know if you guys cannot hear sound. We tested it. We did a whole day of testing. Let's go ahead and make sure that we got this correct. Stand by.
This is just one of several demonstrations in recent weeks targeting migrants in South Africa. Thousands of people in Durban, Pretoria, and now Johannesburg say they want more government action to tackle what they say is illegal immigration. Critics say groups like this are simply xenophobic.
Anyone just wakes up in the morning and decides that they're having problems in their own country. Oh, let me look for greener pastures, and it's South Africa. And if we don't say anything about it, or if we say something about it, we're told that it's black people. This is not a skin color thing. It's about us protecting our country, which is a sovereign state. We love our African brothers and sisters, but it's time now that they also fix their own countries for their own children and their own future.
We're making it very clear to you guys, Utitina, we don't want you here.
In this video widely shared on social media, a man from Ghana is told to go home to fix his country. The Ghanaian High Commission has advised its nationals to close their businesses and keep a low profile, while Nigerian authorities have told citizens to remain indoors. People assembled here blame foreigners for taking their jobs and high levels of crime. In the capital, Pretoria, hundreds of demonstrators demanded action from the government.
It's a legitimate concern being hijacked and used to taint us as a people of South Africa who do not want to live with other people. Because that would not be correct, because that's not who we are.
South African President Cyril Ramaphosa says the concerns should not lead to xenophobia. He says the government is clamping down on illegal migration and rooting out corruption in the immigration system. The United Nations has condemned the attacks. This is not the first time such protests are seen in South Africa. There were large outbreaks of violence against foreign nationals in 2008, 2015, and 2019. And the same sentiments are being repeated now.
We are saying our borders must be properly managed. And all these people who are undocumented, they need to be sent back to their countries.
Why do they have to come here and have free education, free health care? And while they're telling us that we are xenophobic.
Tensions are rising as more protests are planned. Famida Mala, Al Jazeera.
And this is, once again, this is Shoot the Breeze topic number 1. Can South Africa, I know it's not South African, but can South Africa get their act together? We have a second video prompt that deals with this. We won't play the entire video just because it is a little lengthy, but nonetheless, let's go ahear and hear our second video that deals with our first prompt of the day. or first topic, can South Africa get their act together?
Hi guys, if you're planning on going to South Africa anytime soon for vacation, for a conference, for anything at all, you may want to rethink because once again, they are attacking Black Africans. And I like to say up front that not all South Africans are xenophobic. Not all South Africans hate other Black immigrants. But many of them still believe that Black immigrants are the cause of their problem. And you know the worst part? This isn't new. This happens almost every year now. And every time that it happens, the same story is what we keep hearing. That Black immigrants in South Africa are the problem. And that the Black immigrants are stealing their jobs, bringing drugs, taking their housing, overwhelming the system. But let's pause for a second and actually look at the numbers because numbers don't lie. Black immigrants in South Africa make up about 4% of their population. That's roughly 2.5 million people. All these Black immigrants that they are talking about, they're about 2.5 million in a country of about 65 million. So you have to ask yourself, how can 4% of the population really be the root of a country's problem? How can 4% be the ones taking your housing? Or is there something else going on? Because while some South Africans are busy blaming Black immigrants, very few people are talking about power. You know, in South Africa, white people make up about 7.3% of their population. That's roughly 4.5 million people. So white people are only about 7.3%, but they own about 72% of the land. Let that sink in. A small minority, 7.3%, controls the overwhelming majority of the land. This is not an attack on white people in South Africa. I'm just saying that this is a blatant inequality that they are supposed to address with the white people that they are refusing to address because land isn't just dirt. Land is wealth. Land is opportunity. Land is power. Whoever controls the land controls food supply. Whoever controls the land controls the country. So the real question isn't why are immigrants here? The real question should be who actually has control in South Africa and who doesn't? Because, you know, when people are struggling, when jobs are scarce and the system keeps failing, it's easy to point at the most vulnerable and say this is the cause of our problem. It's easy to blame the outsider, but that doesn't fix anything. It just redirects the anger away from the real issue. And the real issue is
Space 44 super agents. Careful, there's no going back. No setup. Just say hello.
The system is built on inequality that has never truly been dismantled. Meanwhile, let's talk about what is actually draining South Africa. Corruption. Let's talk about corruption because they keep saying that it's Black immigrants that are corrupting their children, bringing in drugs and so on. But let's start with the police. Your National Police Commissioner allegedly stole 360 million rand by breaking finance laws over the unlawful awarding of a healthcare contract. His name is Fanny Masemola. He even appeared in court over this 360 million rand, which is more than $21 million. How can your National Police Commissioner be stealing, but you are pointing at Black immigrants? Now that
Hey, that like, hey, she coming with the receipts, man. 21 mil. All right, man. I'll tell you what, man. You know, me and a couple like-minded individuals, we would know exactly what to do with $21 million. Again, if you're just tuning in, you are hearing the voice of Jacadero filling in for Brother Koku here on the Bitter Medicine Podcast. Shoot the Breeze episode 239, and we are just getting we just getting the burners on in the kitchen, man. Come on, we haven't even started cooking, huh? The spices ain't even left the cupboards yet, huh? How about it? Let's get into it. So, Shoot the Breeze. Topic number one, can South Africa get their act together? I know it says the South African, but can South Africa get their act together? Before we get to our panelists' thoughts and views, let's read some of these comments because, man, you guys are getting busy, man. Trigger Happy says, we good in response to my ask about sound quality. Black Steel says, perfect. All right. Trigger Happy says, all of this is subconsciousness eugenics. South Africans don't think their country is black on a subconscious level. Woo. Daily Affirmation says, good evening. Good evening, Daily Affirmations. What's going on? What's up, sister? Trigger Happy also adds, this is the whole point of the Rainbow Nation. It's not even xenophobia, it's Afrophobia. True indeed. True indeed. Lord of Slaughter says, this is just like the FBA. For those that don't know, that's the Foundational Black American. He also adds, they are agents. Woo! Marcus Garvey is the way of free, or is the way to free. Tell them the Africans, huh? Koku says, Black South Africa had a meeting, or Black South Africans had a meeting with Indians, whites, and Chinese to demand they don't hire foreigners. Eesh! Disgusting, huh? Well, let's go ahead and get into some of the thoughts of the panelists on the 2 video prompts dealing with the topic of Shoot the Breeze. Number 1, can South Africa get their act together? We'll start off with Buana. That's right, Buana. Man, you seen what you seen, you heard what you heard. What's your thoughts? Can South Africa get their act together?
Yes, I think that South Africa can get their act together. We had this discussion last week, and Brother Bakari and Cheryl Lees was making statements in reference to the law of South Africa. And I kind of like talked about history, the historical events that took place after the apartheid regime that really created the situation in South Africa right now. And you know what? I had to reconsider my position versus Brother Bakari's position and Shirley's position. Their position was, the hell with it, the hell with the laws of the country. They need to do what they need to do because they are the majority of the people in South Africa. And I really thought about that after the fact. And you know what? They were right. And I was wrong. There's a delusion principle where we have this deluded belief that the law should be the prevailing sentiment, when in fact the law is really coming from the hearts and minds and the ideas and the culture of the people themselves. And if the majority of the people represent the culture, that should be shown up in the law and how they go about doing things. Now, in reference to this particular situation, I think that it's a horrible situation that that Black South African people are doing what they're doing. But that lady in the video, she made the statistics of the amount of the Boers, of the Afrikaners in South Africa. She said that 7%. In a country of 60 million, they represent 7%. But they own 75% of the land, the arable land or the farmable land in South Africa. How is that fair? So you put a bunch of, if you run an experiment and you put a bunch of rats, in a maze where there's limited resources, what are they gonna do? They're gonna fight over those limited resources. And then when you add more rats that maze, what do you think they're gonna do? They're gonna continue. It's gonna create chaos. And I believe that Nelson Mandela and the ANC made a bad deal with then at that point back in the day with the apartheid regime and the apartheid government. They should have completed what they initially started and not made compromises, because these compromises are showing up today, where you have a bunch of people fighting over limited resources, jobs and things like that. When back in the day, these people, South Africa is a huge country. If you have enough land and space, you don't have to fight over limited resources because you have access to what you need in a country of 60 million people. But when you section off all those people into a small little area, right, to fight over resources, of course they're gonna see people coming in that country as a threat to the limited resources they already have. So whoever would have made that initial deal in terms of making compromises within the law itself, I feel that it was treacherous. It was a treacherous deal. And Nelson Mandela created the so-called Rainbow Nation when in fact the people who ultimately kept the wealth of the country itself was still a few people within that rainbow. The color the color white within the rainbow maintain and retain all the resources of that country. So that was a very unfair deal that was made. And if they would want to go with that, they should have went back to the bush and started fighting until that job was completed. And the completion of the job was where the majority of the people had the majority of the land itself. We ain't fighting over jobs. We fighting over land to produce food. If you could produce food, I don't have to run to your corporations anymore. So they should have completed that deal and ran those Boers into the position where they were the minority. So you have 7% of the land, not 75% of the land. It's an unfair deal. And that fight that they started in way before the 1980s. But they really ramped it up in the 1980s. They should have completed that deal. They should have completed that fight over resources. And I think that Nelson Mandela did a disservice by making so many compromises where you see this issue today. Because really and truly, I tell you what, the people are crazy right now, not fighting or pointing their anger, because it's misplaced anger. The anger should be placed or then directed towards the people who are actually creating the situation. But the anger is being misdirected to the so-called immigrants. And they are not the problem. The problem is your leaders, and the problem is the people who are making these deals that's compromising the integrity, the food supply, and the resources of your people. They created it. So it's misdirected anger. And it looked very cowardly, but it's just in putting these things in a historical perspective, I think that is what's happened. But I think that eventually the situation is going to get worked out. I believe so. Brother Bakari talked about learn optimism, and I am an optimist, and I believe ultimately this situation will be sorted out. I'll leave it there.
I appreciate it, Buana. Man, if you're just tuning in, once again, I am Jacadero filling in for Brother Koku here on the Bitter Medicine Podcast. Shoot the Breeze, episode 239. The first topic for Shoot the Breeze, topic number 1, can South Africa get their act together? We watched 2 video prompts showing recent marches, protests against immigration from other Africans, from other African nations, and South Africans claiming that they should go back to those African countries, fix those economies, fix those governments, fix those societies, and don't even think about relocating to South Africa. Black Steel, what you say? What do you say? Can South Africa get their act together based on what you've seen, what you heard?
Well, they better. They better get their act together. This is very cowardly. This is a level of bitch assness that I had hoped to never see in my lifetime again. Robert Mugabe said, I'm paraphrasing him, that these South Africans will lynch a black man, but they won't raise their voice at a white man, right? White people, the European, the Boers, Afrikaners, whatever you want to call them, they came in South Africa and they were legitimately doing human experiments to try to create biological weapons to kill off black people. And yet, you don't ever see any smoke for them. We all know about the brutality during the apartheid era. We know about the inequality. It was so bad that, much of the world ended up boycotting South Africa. And here we are, 30 years, a little bit over 30 years later. And this is the way South Africans want to behave. This is a pathological rejection of history, right? And the white minority is sitting back and they're laughing at this. And it's so sad to me that black people, African people, still keep falling for the same tricks over and over again. It's really like looking at episode of Looney Tunes, right? Where the coyote keeps falling for the same tricks the Roadrunner's doing. And I gotta wonder, what are we doing? We are in a time of global upheaval. We are in a time of a polarity shift in the world. The old world is dying and the new world is struggling to be born. And the inappropriate behavior that some African people exhibit makes me feel as if we want to be subjugated for all time. And we can't see a way out of it. There's a period in history that in China is called the Century of Humiliation, right? Where China had been subjugated by Europeans, forced to sell opium to their people, called Opium Wars, the Boxer Rebellion, so on and so forth. And after a century of humiliation, the Chinese people were able to say, okay, enough of this, let's get our act together. But they were united by ideology. African people, for some reason, can't ever seem to get on the same page ideologically. And while we're fighting each other, these Europeans come in and they steal and they create systems that keep African people in a permanent state of impoverishment. You're mad because a black man from Ghana opened up a hair salon. Was there anything keeping you from opening up a hair salon? So instead of being angry at those people who have subjugated your people since the 17th century, you're going to turn around and attack another African person to the point you're in the street rallying. You didn't see this many people in the street during apartheid. In fact, when they did, and you know what? I'm going to say this too. A lot of this is fear. Black people are scared of white people. And I'm saying this, I know my brothers on the panel, you know, we're righteous warriors. We're not scared. But as a group, as a collective, African people are scared of white people. We are scared. And I'm going to be honest with you. Who's to say we may have a reason to be scared? These people are crazy. You know, they'll kill each other to kill us. So, but even if we are scared, even if we are afraid, you still got to fight. In fact, the only time when you can really be brave is when you are afraid. But I think that this whole conversation is just it's just cowardice. They're picking on the most vulnerable people in their society. I saw a video, they were going and attacking children, immigrant children. How is this behavior not reminiscent of what was being done to South Africans in apartheid? They're literally replicating the same behavior towards their own African people. Mind you, the African people who made it possible for them to end apartheid. You don't think that African nations having bases, that the ANC having bases in Namibia, Botswana, getting weapons and shipments from Angola and Mozambique, enable them to defeat the South African enemy? But now, not even 30 years later, get out of our country. It's not your country because the white people still running stuff. So is it really your country? You're really fighting over scraps from the table. And I got to look at the government of South Africa, right? This is a law enforcement issue that is going on with South Africa. Every one of those people who is going after these immigrants should be incarcerated and charged with inciting a riot. You need to be harsh on these people. Yes, if these people are in their country legally, illegal, whatever your laws are, okay, I guess. But at the same time, legality isn't always moral. What's moral ain't legal, and what's legal ain't moral all the time. So I'm looking at this situation. I'm wondering why this is allowed to go on. And it's really making me think, what's the hand behind it? What's the invisible hand behind this? I know recently South Africa came out and they were the ones who initiated a case of genocide against Israel for their actions in Palestine. And it was South Africa who actually petitioned the International Court of Justice to begin an investigation of this. I'm not going to say the Jews did it, but I got to say this outbreak of xenophobia, and they've had outbreaks in the past, but for this outbreak to be as strong and as well organized as it is, I'm wondering if this is not payback, right? And this is kind of what those people do. They're able to cause discord and disunity in nations that cause them issues. So I'm wondering if there's a certain class element that's being petitioned to, that's being taken advantage of, and I want to hope for the better. Black people, African people, we're really late in the day, man. Like the sun is getting low right now, and for us to be engaging in this type of behavior on a regular basis, to be falling back into tribalism at a time when we need to be united, it's very sad, and it's very disappointing to see that we're still on the same bullshit that got our ancestors caught up hundreds of years ago. The European was able to take advantage of tribalism then, and they're still taking advantage of tribalism in the 21st century. So I'll leave it there. Thank you.
Appreciate it, Black Steel. Once again, if you're just tuning in, this is Shoot the Breeze episode 239 on the Bitter Medicine podcast. I am Jacadero filling in for Brother Koku, and we are discussing Shoot the Breeze topic number 1. Can South Africa get their act together? We watched 2 video prompts dealing with South Africa and their recent rise in xenophobia with marches and protests against other African immigrants in the country. My question to both Black Steel and Bwana, what do you guys say to those proponents of the Amabunto marches? That's what they're calling it. I'm not sure on the direct translation. Basically, anti-immigrant, illegal immigration, but just nonetheless resistant towards other Africans. What do you say to those that say, why can't they go back to Congo, to Ghana, to Nigeria, to Somalia, to Ethiopia, and fix those countries? Why do they have to be here? Like Bwana said, we are dealing with a country that doesn't have not even close to the best economy, and we're fighting for jobs already amongst ourselves. Now we're adding in a third person that's not even from the country. What do you say to that, Black Steel and Bwana?
What I would say to this is that the third person you need to be worried about is the white people. That's who you need to be worried about. To them, I would say grow up and stop being childish is what I would say. The source of your problems is not your black brother. And remember the time where you, as South African, were displaced in your country and you were oppressed, and you came to your African brothers, and they with open arms, they supported you in your struggle. So in their economic struggle, why can't you support your brother? They supported you. I would tell them to grow up and handle your business. Handle these crackers, handle the Boer, handle the Afrikaner. They are the source of your worries. When you can have South Africans who say, "Oh, we're in the midst of a genocide," and they got to grow up. This is a ridiculous, this is embarrassing behavior. That's what I would tell them. I would tell them that, just like the young lady said, they're not your enemy. Look at the people who own 70% of the stuff in your country, and they make up not even 10%. But yet you want to talk about these African immigrants who are probably as poor as you are. Africa is our home, not South Africa, not Botswana. The African continent is our home. And in my home, I go in whatever room I want to go in. These borders that were created by Europeans, these laws, they have no standing. They have no place in African people. But I think part of the issue is that we can't even imagine a world where we are sovereign people and we make the rules and the regulation, the borders, and everything else like that. We can't even imagine it. And it's really sad that here we are again going through the same mess. I believe it's outside agitators. I don't know who that woman was in the first video. She was talking, or she was running her mouth a lot. Those two people, I don't know. If I was in charge of South Africa, I would bring them in for some questioning, some harsh questioning. You know, maybe we can get down to some nitty gritty, get down to some brass tacks. Because to me, it doesn't seem it's. I understand South Africa's position economically and the struggles that African people go through in that country, right? There's a woman on YouTube I like to listen to. She's a black woman who likes to travel. And she had a list of places she would never travel again. Top 5 places she would never go to again. And on that list was Cape Town, South Africa. And she said in Cape Town, it felt like apartheid never left in Cape Town. Why is it the focus to not, instead of beating up and mistreating another African, this is you go after the white people? And Trigger Happy says there's some sex relations too. I don't doubt it. I saw that rumor where they said the South African men don't like to dine on Southern cuisine, and the other men do like to dine on Southern cuisine, if you know what I mean. And the South African women are preferring to be with foreign men. I mean, step your game up, homie. There's no guarantee. There's no guarantee that if these foreigners were around, they'd fuck you. So, I mean, be competitive. That's all I can say. Be competitive. If that's what you're boiling down to, because it's about coochie. That's just shameful behavior. Again, shameful behavior. Yeah, Southern cuisine. Anyways, I'll stop there and let Barnes speak.
But for me, I personally, Chakadel, I don't speak to miscreants and goofballs of a society. You know, I try to, my words would be directed to power. So I'm approaching the government, and I'm trying to get them to create a law which limits the level of xenophobia. You have to use the power and the force of the government to break up certain things. You can't just give people the right to freely yell fire in a movie theater and create chaos. So you have to clamp down on that. There are always going to be, within any society that exists, you're going to see a level of jealousy. You're going to see a level of lowbrowness, egotism, a lot of different kinds of things. A man comes from another country, comes to your country, makes himself successful. When you grew up there and you've been living there forever, but you have not been able to create a lifestyle that's commiserate to this person who's come from beyond. And it's really born out of jealousy. You know, born out of jealousy. These people are, with their limited opportunities, was able to do so much more than you was. You see these things in the Bahamas as well. Some people come from the southern parts of the Caribbean and come to this country, and is able to charter an existence, a lifestyle that's better than the person who's been living here for all their life. So they look at them with this jaundiced view, this jealous view. You know, how were you able to do it and I wasn't able to do it? Could spawn from jealousy, you know, and I don't want to. Yes, there is an unseen hand by the Boers and Africans creating this situation, you know, because people benefit from chaos, whether they want to believe that or not. So yes, there is an unseen hand, but I don't want also to take away our personal responsibility and the people that exist within our community that creates these kinds of situations and does these kinds of things. And you really have to take a look what these things are born out of. You know, if a Nigerian man or Ghanaian man comes to your country and is able to date your women, and you haven't been able to do the same things, more power to him. Like Black Steel State, step up your game. And who's to say if they never came, she would want to date you anyways? But these little petty jealousies, I think that some of the black people in South Africa need to get over themselves, or they will go right back to the same situation they were in prior to Nelson Mandela creating this idea of a rainbow nation. If that's what they want, amen, more power to y'all. More power to y'all, but I ain't going back. And certainly someone who is coming from a different country, he is coming to try to be successful. And if he is not successful there, he will pick up his Johnny bundle and find another place to go. You know, a man who was trying to get the best opportunity in life, he gonna go seek it wherever it may be. If you want to sit on your tuffet and not try to do the same things, hey, that's on you. If you want to stay in your situation, that's on you. But you're not going to stop people them from moving about Africa. People have always moved in every part of Africa looking for opportunity. You know, the white man came then, section you all off and say, you only could go here and you only could go here, when the black man has been going all over the continent for centuries. Who are you to stop that process? Who are you to try to play police and fence black people off from their one continent? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? But like I say, I speak to power. I do not talk to miscreants. I don't talk to miscreants and people them who can't understand reason. I don't like to have conversations with them. I rather approach the government and try to get them to create and enforce laws where this xenophobia is kept to a minimum. But I'll leave it there, Jacadero.
Sheesh, man. Hey, strong stances from our brothers on the panel, Black Steel and Buana. And again, it doesn't have to just be brothers here on the panel giving their perspectives on any of the Shoot the Breeze topics for Shoot the Breeze episode 239 and future episodes. I mean, come on, sisters. You know, come on. If you're hearing this voice, if you're watching on your screen, go ahead and click on the StreamYard link. We'll go ahead and get you in the panel and get your perspectives. Before we move on to our second topic for Shoot the Breeze episode 239, let's read some of these comments. Trigger Happy says, you notice that this Rainbow Nation concept has parallels all over the world? Again, Rainbow Nation politics is just a scheme to get rid of black people, or at least black people's power. Koku 911 says, apparently the woman that was speaking is a Zulu, and a lot of Zulus are carrying out these attacks. If so, pretty disgusting.
Man, there was these Zulu engaged in a lot of inappropriate behavior, man. They elected a white chief, I saw. These Zulus is really out of pocket, man. We need to definitely take them back to the woodshed. But they're really need to be called out on their inappropriate behavior. Shaka will be very, very disappointed.
Sheesh. Man, I'm disappointed, and I can only imagine if Shaka is watching from wherever he's at, what he has to say about the state of South Africa and their views on other African brothers and sisters. All right, well, let's go ahead and move forward with, again, Shoot the Breeze episode 239 here on the Better Medicine podcast. Go ahead and hit the like button. Come on, you're listening, you're watching. Get the engagement going. That's how other like-minded Pan-African nationalists can know on what message is being brought out there. Hit the like button. Come on, hit the like button. It's not enough just to comment. Hit the like button. Come on, let's get this and other videos in the algorithm. All right, let's go to Shoot the Breeze topic number 2. And it deals again with South Africa, I guess, in a way. South Africa and the United States. And it's Boers in America taking jobs from black people. Again, Boers in America taking jobs from black people. For those that are unfamiliar with the term Boer, this is to identify the white person in South Africa. Well, apparently they have gotten asylum. Asylum, yes, they've gotten refuge in where? Not another African country, in a Western country called the United States. So this topic deals with 2 videos that we're going to be watching and listening. Stand by.
White supremacy doesn't make economic sense. I see it around here. I see these guys when I go to Walmart. They usually have in short pants and they speak in Afrikaner to each other. It doesn't make sense to me in economically. If you bring people in from another country to work on your farm and you're paying them more that means you have more going out from your pocket to them. What you're doing is really shutting down productivity because everybody is productive. Everybody has creativity. And until Mississippi overall realizes how racism hurts them, Mississippi will always be one of the last rated states in the country. White supremacy doesn't make economic sense.
All right, and it looks like we just had two videos of the same topic. And again, you are just tuning in to Shoot the Breeze episode 239 here on the Bitter Medicine Podcast. I am Jacadero, filling in for Brother Koku. And I'm having a great time diving and building with my brothers and sisters. And our topic for Shoot the Breeze number 2, Boers in America, meaning white South Africaners in America taking jobs from Black people in the United States of America. A little background, if you guys don't already know, since this current U.S. administration has been in power in the United States, they've given asylum. Yes, the foreign policy has allowed white South Africaners to relocate to the United States on a temporary visa asylum status. There is talk about if they stay permanently, but so far it's caused friction in some of these southern United States like Mississippi. All right, before we get into the thoughts of our panelists, Trigger Happy says it depends on how this go, because some Boers, again, white South Africaners, are going back, but they are doing things like this that becomes a problem. We'll start off with Black Steel. Black Steel, what say you? Boers in America taking jobs from Black people. You think so? And then also, what's your thoughts on this entire ordeal?
I mean, of course they are, right? That's what Trump bought them for. Of course they're taking jobs from Black people. The Republican Party in the United States wants a white nationalism. They're really leaning into white nationalism, right? They want a white country. That's really what it boils down to. Let's not be afraid to call a spade a spade. They want a white country. There's no room for Black people, whether we've been here 4 years or 400 years. So they're being brought in for the express purpose of depriving Black people from their homes or their jobs or whatnot. This is by design. They're fleeing a quote unquote white genocide, from South Africa that only about 50 of them left. And they came to the United States looking for sanctuary. And that's really all it boils down to. They did something like this in countries in Latin America. The population was looking for it. Look where they're going. Parts of the South. The South is the blackest part of the United States. Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana. That's what it's called, the Black Belt. Think about within history. for example, in the Dominican Republic. To lighten up the population, to replace different, all the same white nationalist, white supremacist behaviors are on display with this administration. So yeah, it doesn't make economic sense, and I understand what he's saying, but white people don't mind fucking up their economy if they think they'll hurt black people even more. That's what I think a lot of black African people don't understand. These white people are psychopaths. If they'll lose a toe if it means you're going to lose a foot, right? They'll kill 2 of theirs to kill 5 of yours. Their motivation is just merely by domination. They don't like the fact that white African people in the United States have gained anything, and they want to take it all away from us. So them bringing these Boers, Afrikaners, and bringing them to South Africa, it is completely par for the course. We got to be prepared, because this is really just the opening wave. Trump is never going to shut the door for them. And assuming he ever leaves office, which I don't think unless he's got to die first. Outside of that, I don't think he's trying to stay there permanently. We're going to have to respond as black people, and we have to be organized, because again, it's inappropriate behavior. Petitioning the government isn't going to accomplish anything, because this is what they want to do. I'll leave it there.
Woo, yeah, man. Yeah, a lot from Black Steel. I appreciate you, Black Steel. Juana, what's your thoughts? These white South Africaners in America taking jobs from black people, good, bad thing, and also what do you think of the entire ordeal?
Well, for me, I see opportunity. I see opportunity for the black farmers to petition African governments to assist and aid with commercial farming in those in African countries. I see an opportunity. And Trump, unfortunately, for right or wrong, he's opened the door to it. And I don't know whether you could convince black farmers to say, hey, the government subsidies that the American government was supposed to pay you, obviously, it's in your face. They are redirecting those subsidies and resources to foreign farmers to come into the country and to do the same thing you've been petitioning the government to do for years and years and decades and have been failing at. Here's an opportunity. Come to our country. Come to Zimbabwe. Come to Ghana. Come to wherever in countries like where the black populations are really identical, because in Mississippi you get a bunch of West African doing farming there. So let me say West African. You get a bunch of black Americans who were formerly West Africans doing farming down there. So it's not dramatically different for you to go to Ghana and do the same kind of commercial farming and teach and provide some kind of sustenance for yourself and your family. I understand your bones are buried here. I understand blood and soil. But ultimately, at the end of the day, if the governments of the United States is showing and telling and showing you to your face that we are not going to support black farmers in this particular area, why be tied down to that area? And I think that the African governments need to approach black American farmers, because they have the skill set. They have the skill set to do commercial farming on a large scale. And you have hectares and hectares of land that is necessary. They don't have the necessary talent to understand how to go about doing the commercial farming in the numbers that's needed. Well, there's a gap. And you have all these people who have the talent, but they don't have the land to exercise their talent. They don't have the resources and the subsidies they need to exercise those talent. Well, I would approach them. And really, ultimately, is me having the ability to convince them to say, here is another opportunity for you. And it could be of mutual benefit. I don't know if the black farmers in Mississippi will go for that, I don't know if you'll be able to convince them to go for that, but I would approach them with that opportunity. I really would. Because the government in the United States is telling you to your face. I've been hearing on the internet, black farmers been crying and lamenting for years for not having the ability to get the subsidies they need to continue in commercial farming in certain parts of the South. Well, if they're not going to do it, maybe someone else might invite you in to do it. And who better than African countries, you know? But that's just my optimism talking, maybe. So I'll leave it.
A question to both of you guys before we take a look. Oh, let's actually take a look at some of these comments here. Trigger Happy says, depends on how this goes because some Boers are going back, but they are doing things that like this become a problem. Koku says, from what I understand, they aren't going back on planes back to Africa. They are going to other parts of the South. And then Trigger Happy adds, white immigration becomes the motivation for all settler colonial countries when they want to get rid of certain populations. All right, Black Steel Buana, let me play advocate for a little bit. Would, let's say, a country like Senegal, and they, large, probably 99.9% black country in Africa, and we have the African Americans. Would it be right for, let's say, the small white or European or maybe even Asian minority in Senegal to feel a type of way if the government of Senegal were to have an open foreign policy with African Americans and bringing them over? Would they be right to feel any type of way the way that we feel? Black Steel Buana, what say you guys?
If you can show to whatever population that you're going to how it would be of a benefit in people coming in and doing certain things within the country itself, what do you have to say about it? It's done all the time. The Americans got very mad when Vivek Ramaswamy said, if we want to bolster our technical industry, we have to import skilled labor. Why? Because we do not have enough people within our country themselves to do the things that they need to do. And you know what? Trump eventually, he initially backed Vivek Ramaswamy in those statements. But, in throwing red meat to his base, he had to walk back that idea. Because you don't want this quote unquote idea of looking at Americans as lazy or not really being interested in the technical field. But the reality is, within any society, you're going to have shortfalls of skill. But because Trump is so heavy on this, he's playing this immigration card so heavy, he can't go. It's very difficult to go back on that. But the reality is, if you want to grow your country, you're going to have to import skilled labor. And America is bully for importing the best and the brightest from different parts of the world to grow their economy. So if they could do it, why can't other countries follow that level of success? I don't know. And this is what I would sell to so-called minorities. If we don't have enough people to do it, of course, we're going to have to recruit people from other places. Do you want to see a better Senegal or not? Do you want to see a better Ghana or not? Well, this is what it takes to do these things, because you can't only do it in-house. I mean, eventually, if you create programs towards that direction, sure, fine. But until then, what are we going to do now? You know what I mean? So this is what I would probably sell to people like this. Well, will it, will I be able to convince them? Who knows, Jacadero? But I just try to push reason to people, but I recognize and I understand more and more every day that the majority of people are very unreasonable. They don't really value reason and things like that. They value emotions over reason. And this is why you see the results that you see. Because people play into your emotions, and then when you have ridiculous consequences, everybody looking around to point the finger. But it is what it is. Pridefulness and proudness will cause a man to starve. I don't know. Maybe that's me. I'll leave it cool. A Jacadero.
Well, Buana, before you go, Black Sailor, I apologize. We'll give you a chance to answer my question. Also, to add in, I want your thoughts on this. Cheryl says, "Greetings, what's going on, Cheryl?" She has a question, a serious question. What jobs specifically are white immigrants taking from Black people in the United States? And this is both to you and Black Steel. I mean, we just got you, so we're gonna stick with you on your thoughts as well. What jobs are
Well,
these?
I don't. For me to answer that question, let me say this: there has been, in terms of the farming industry itself, that many Black people. Well, this is Trump's reasoning. This ain't my reasoning now, Shirley. So don't get upset at me. But I'm saying that there has been a shortfall of people who want to engage in the farming industry, picking fruits, cutting cabbage with, many Black people and white people. Many people don't want those kinds of jobs anymore. So of course, you're gonna have to recruit people to come in to do certain specific jobs. And it's not to say that Black people are designed for farming and things of that nature, but many Black people used to farm. Many Black people, we had a thriving agricultural industry in the South, very much so. Even in this country, by the way, but Black people seem like they don't want to do that anymore. They want to go to other kinds of jobs. I don't know if it's necessarily taking jobs away, but I'm saying that you using that labor where there was a shortfall in that labor or within that labor market itself, if you understand what I'm saying. But I'll leave it. That's just my thoughts on that question.
I appreciate it, Buana. Black Steel, what say you first to my question? If the shoe was on the opposite end of the foot, if the shoe was on the opposite foot and Senegal was taking in African American asylum seekers, and Senegal had a white or an Asian minority group that felt the type of way, would they be validated in their grievances? And then also, Cheryl asked the question, what jobs specifically are white immigrants taking from Black people in the United States?
Okay, so your first question, if the shoe was on the other foot, if an African nation was taking in African Americans and displacing their non-Black immigrants, right, or whatever, basically you're saying, hypothetically speaking.
Yeah, don't get too tired on me, Black Steel. Come on now.
No. Yeah, you said I need some of your energy, bro. Let me hold it. Anyway, you ever watch Dragon Ball Z?
Yes.
Yeah, you know how they say how Goku had him do the spirit bomb. Lend me your energy. I need a spirit bomb.
I'm the Goku, you're Gohan, huh?
Thank you. I need that. Anyways, back on topic though. As far as this subject here, right? I believe that United States doesn't operate in good faith, right? I believe that if these South African people wanted to find, first of all, the comparison isn't the same because Senegal is a much smaller country. United States has lots and lots and lots of farmland. Okay, so instead of taking Black people's jobs, okay, we're talking about in America how they're deporting all the Mexicans and sending them back. Why not just replace the Mexicans with these Boers? Why you gotta hurt Black people? You can do this job without displacing African Americans. You can, if you're sitting about these. In fact, if you go to the southern states, especially places like Florida, a lot of Hispanic people are no longer working in construction or picking the strawberries because they're afraid of ICE. So why doesn't he send them, instead of displacing and hurting Black people, he can just replace the Mexicans that are leaving? That would make more sense to me. We got a shortage of manpower. All the Mexicans left. Here, go there. So it's very much intentional. This is being done on purpose. And as far as what jobs, I don't know. What I believe is probably farm work. More than likely, it's probably farmers. And it's funny because there's a crisis with Black farmers in this country, and they recently had some issues dealing with racism. And when Biden was president, he created a special commission to deal with the needs of Black farmers. And once Trump took office, he got rid of that. So I think it's probably more than anything that my thoughts on that there.
I appreciate it. Black Steel Buana, I appreciate it. Cheryl's getting busy in the chat. Again, if you are just joining in, I am Jacadero, filling in for Brother Koku here on the Bitter Medicine Podcast, Shoot the Breeze, episode 239. And we're discussing our Shoot the Breeze topic number 2. Boers or white Afrikaners from South Africa and America taking jobs from Black people. It dealt with the video that talked with, or that had a Black farmer in Mississippi saying on how these guys are now taking opportunities away from them. Cheryl says the Hispanics notoriously have cleaning jobs all over the nation, the United States, but continue. Lord of Slaughter says the difference is Blacks replacing Blacks in Senegal scenario. Here is whites replacing Blacks. Woo! All right, y'all are busy. Speaking of Cheryl, or any of the sister on this next prompt or this next topic, maybe just maybe you guys might want to hit that StreamYard link and join in to be a panel, because I was thinking about you guys because this one hits home for me, but it deals directly with our sisters, huh? So let's get into it. Let's not waste any time. Shoot the Breeze, topic number 3 here on episode 239. Segregation or problem solving? I know. What a question. Segregation or problem solving. And it deals here in Omaha, Nebraska. For those that don't know, I'm Jacadero, based here out of Omaha, Nebraska. And you'll find a little bit more about the organization that I represent. And it's a strong organization. And we have an annual, well, you know what? How about that? Before I start promoting, doing the shameless plug, let's get into the video that deals with Shoot the Breeze, topic number 3, segregation or problem solving. Stand by.
New middle school coming to North Omaha. It's Identity Preparatory Academy. The executive director says it's all for girls.
Yes, and the school is actually making a little history itself as the first state-approved Black-founded school in Nebraska. We introduce you to the Sisterhood of Scholars. A school rooted in community.
We invited the families and their daughters to come in. We called it the Dreams of Our Daughters. And so they talked about what an education that would be nourishing for them would look like, and then we built it out.
Is beginning to bloom in North Omaha.
High quality education, academic excellence is at the forefront. The way that we're getting there, the track that we're laying is that it needs to be culturally fortified. Our girls need to see people that look like them, leadership that looks like them.
Dernisha Phillips is the founder and chief executive of Identity Preparatory Academy. It's an all-girls school for middle schoolers in North Omaha. It's the first state-approved Black-founded school in the history of Nebraska.
There's a lot of research showing that our girls really shine when they are around each other, and especially in those middle years.
5th grader Savannah helped pilot some of the programming.
I said I wanted to have like school sports and stuff because I like to play basketball and flag football. And my mom said she thinks that kids should learn how to cook.
And Dominique Beverly, a substitute teacher, says she's been interested from the moment she heard of Identity Prep.
She said, "Do you know about Dr. Phillips?" And I was like, "No." She was like, "She's opening up a school, the first all-female school in Omaha." And I was like, "No." I was like, "But please send me your contact."
Savannah says her mom plans to enroll her in classes for the next school year. And she's excited to be around girls just like her.
You won't get judged and stuff of the way how you look or how you act and stuff. And you get to just be you.
Phillips says the community really wanted this.
We got started a couple years ago and have piloted lots of great programming, and there's such a need and desire. And one of the things that we were even talking about, every program we've had, there's been 60 to 100 girls on every waiting list.
And the students, community members, and parents all helped create the curriculum.
Community members, community co-educators are coming in and teaching our girls. So those who want to get involved, we encourage them to do so.
Okay, so Dr. Phillips not announced yet where classes are going to be held, but she says that classes will start in the fall. And so people are already signing up for
that waiting list.
I know, it's long.
Yeah.
Once again, I'm Jacadero filling in for Brother Koku here on Shoot the Breeze, episode 239 on the Bitter Medicine Podcast. Man, we're getting active. We are always active, not only on Saturdays, but throughout the week. We have a Discord. Yes, the Bitter Medicine Podcast Discord. Get into it. Come and belong. Come and build with like-minded individuals, men and women just like yourself. And that way you can also, on Saturdays, add in your Shoot the Breeze topics, just like this one was added. And again, Shoot the Breeze topic number 3, segregation or problem solving, that dealt with the video that we just watched about an all-black girls' school, the first of its kind, funded and managed and started here out of Omaha, Nebraska. And Trigger Happy says, definitely problem solving. Segregation is just internal colonialism, labor extraction, resource neglection. This is about sovereignty. Trigger Happy always making me work my thesaurus in my enunciation. Man, hey, Trigger Happy, something tells me that maybe in your past life you were a Jalul from East Africa because of your knowledge on complex terms. Huh? I'm so glad that I went to the library growing up so I can pronounce a lot of these words that you put in. We'll start off with Buana. Buana, what say you? Is this segregation or problem solving?
I think it's problem solving, and it's a beautiful thing. Someone needs to send this to Dr. Johnson, because I've never even heard of this lady, and what she's been able to do in such a short period of time. You know, some people have been trying to. Well, that's a whole other story. But I think that it's a good thing. I'm interested to know what they are actually learning in this particular school, what the curriculum looks like. I'm curious about that, because you don't want to turn out a bunch of septum ring feminazis, but that's a whole other story too. But I just think that it's a good exercise in trying to help your little girls. You know, if that's a dream and that's a vision, I think it's a good thing. I kind of leery about using the white media to spread this information, but I also I know that to get the message out there, sometimes you got to use what you got to use. You got to use access. But I know that the right wing people are salivating, trying to stop the if they get outside resources. I know that's going to be shut out right away. I know that's going to be stopped right away. So whoever is doing this in terms of funding, and it's an internal idea or whatever, I applaud them in trying to collectively get the Black people of Omaha, Nebraska together to try to build something and establish something along the lines of education, in particular with females. I think it's a wonderful idea. I would like for them to do a program with the males, young guys as well. You know, so you have people. Well, I guess that's not her vision right now, but whoever has that vision to do that, do the same kinds of things as well. You need that to happen. You need that to happen. But I'll leave it there.
Buana in the chat, and thanks Buana for your insight. Koku in the chat 911 says, Buana, are you up on that septum rings? You're very knowledgeable, it sounds like, on this septum ring characteristics and behaviors. Let us find out, huh, Buana? Black Steel, you are an educator. You're a teacher yourself, huh? What say you after watching the launch of an all-black girls' school in the state of Nebraska, especially in Omaha, Nebraska? Come on now. Black Steel, what say you? Is this segregation or problem solving?
This is not segregation. This is called separation, right? Segregation is usually imposed on a people, right? Separation is done for the good of both people. So this is not what I would call segregation. This is separation. And I don't see a problem with it. I feel as if many times you have private schools that are Catholic schools, that are, Muslim schools or religious schools or whatever, right? Unless they're explicitly excluding white children, which I don't think they are. There's no law that says no white people can come to our school. Then they're good. They're perfectly fine. I would be interested in knowing the curriculum, but I think it's good that Black children can be around other Black children and work with them and connect with them. I think that many times within this, well, let me just say in the school system, you depending on the curriculum and who's the teacher, it's important to have teachers and educators that look like you. And this is good that these young ladies have that. Again, it's an all-girls school. There's all-boys schools. There's not, they're separating themselves. Is it a rape? And to be fair, I think this is whoever's running the school is very intelligent, because they haven't said, well, we're separating because black girls need to be by themselves. No, she says an all-girls school, perfectly fine. You can exclude girls. Again, I didn't see where they excluded white people. You can't, legally do that or say that, But white people ain't going to put their kids in a school that's majority black if they can help it, right? I'm assuming they got to pay tuition to go to school. This is a private school. They're not going there for free. So this school probably requires tuition. And that's a good thing. It's good that our people, young people, can go to a school that supports their needs and whatever educational challenges they may have. So I don't see any problem with it. I think it's a good thing. I would like to know the curriculum. I would like to know as far as how do they perform on state tests. I think that's also important. Just kind of get an idea of the metrics. And it's good to be around other black people. I think when you're around teenagers, especially if you have a private school, when the parents are paying, you can do things as far as structure and classroom management that you wouldn't necessarily be able to do in a public school, especially one that's more than multiracial. And also too, the parents are since they're paying tuition, they're going to be a lot more involved in the child's education, right? So these are black parents who want the best for their children. They send them to a school that is centered on their needs to educate them. I think it's a great thing. Again, like you said, worry about the scepter ring, but let's hope they don't get them too young involved in that. Let's work with them. Again, separation is not segregation, and it's done every day all over this country. That people separate from other countries or from other groups all the time, create their own schools. Yeah, that's what homeschooling is, right? Some parents don't want their kids to be in public school for safety, or maybe they don't want learning certain things. They homeschool them. That's basically what this is, but it's just done and it's revolving around a very cultural phenomenon. I think that's a good thing. No argument from me there.
Gotcha. I got a question for both you and Buana. Before we get into that question, in the chat, Lord of Slaughter says, look, there has to be separation. The first two prompts are the result of too much integration. Nobody vets the European. Our people assume friendship with a smile, and the European knows that. Sheesh, coming in heavy. Trigger Happy says, yeah, they have to play with the loopholes in response to the whole curriculum and the structure of this thing. Let's see here. Lord of Slaughter also added in earlier, we should be pooling our money to do this in the Caribbean or Black South American countries. Interesting. Again, Shoot the Breeze, topic number 3, segregation or problem solving. And this dealt with the video of a new all-girls prep school, the all-black girls prep school, the first of its kind, funded in the state of Nebraska, out of Omaha specifically. Buana Black Steel, I got a question. So this is a all-black girls prep school. If you guys were the chancellor or the superintendent, would you guys be accepting money that comes outside of the black community? Like, let's say, I believe all the senators, especially the governor, is not black and doesn't come from a black background. Would you be accepting money for your guys' school for this if this was in your guys' shoes? Anybody can answer.
So let me say this. Would I accept money? I'm assuming that money comes with strings attached, right? When you talk about selecting money, giving money to institution, that money comes with the price tag on it. Something, you're not just going to take these people money and not produce what they want you to produce, right? They're going to require you to do something. It could be any number of things. They're going to want you to make sure that you have their money, or we want you to teach this program, or we want you to have this book in your classroom, you know. So it could be any number of things. So with that in mind, just be careful who you take your money from. But also too, if the parents are already paying for it, and here's another thing too. Let me just say this, right? Private schools, at least in my state, right, they can get state funds. That's what the whole thing about vouchers is, right? If you go to a public school, that public school doesn't meet your needs, you can get a voucher from the state to help pay for tuition. So I don't think that's necessarily going to be a problem. Now you're talking about individuals, some philanthropists, the fucking Koch brothers or whatever, then no. But more than likely, if this state has a voucher program, they're going to be able to get state funds to go to this school, which isn't a bad thing. Again, a lot of the curriculum is enriching and it follows the guidelines. I don't see a problem with it. But if you're taking money from like Nike or something, I would be wary of that.
I mean, I couldn't agree more with Black Steel, and I know we agree on a lot on this program tonight, but it is what it is, and what he said is actually right. As long as that money doesn't come with intention in terms of how you're going to direct my program or where it's going to go, and usually people don't give money like that. They wanna enslave you with money. Just like the Jewish lobby in Congress, so you have to be careful of who you get money from and why it's being given. Because I would take money from the KKK. I would take money from the KKK if their intention is, I want y'all N-words to have your own things and not interfere with my children. No problem. Give me my money. Give me my money. Come, give me my money. But if the money is, okay, I'm going to give you this money, but you got to do this. You got to incorporate this curriculum. You got to incorporate these ideas. No, thank you, sir. Have a good day. So I agree with Black Steel's sentiments on that. So I'll leave it there.
Gotcha. I appreciate it. Ladies, come on. Ladies, this was a topic that I thought you guys was going to come on the panel. I can understand maybe you guys are pretty busy. Women in our Pan-African world are always busy, just as the men. So I understand. Buana, you didn't respond to that septum ring comment, huh? What's
no? I sometimes. So I didn't. I see a lot of women, black women, self-proclaimed feminists. They have this nose ring, and I just didn't know what it was before. So someone mentioned this whole. I had to look it up. Septum ring. Like, what's the septum ring? Oh, they mean a nose ring. And usually, when you see those ladies, they uttering a lot of feminist nonsense. So, that's where I get the term from. I had to look it up.
I was like, how does Buana know so much about the septum ring? But I digress. All right. Well, we'll get into Shoot the Breeze topic number 4, and it deals with a recent Supreme Court ruling. Yeah, that's right. Are Black people fighting the same fight our ancestors were? Again, are Black people fighting the same fight or fights our ancestors were? And it deals with a recent Supreme Court ruling or a case. We go to YouTube for the video. How about that? They can explain better than maybe what I can explain. Stand by.
The court has ruled to limit the Voting Rights Act. The case focused on whether states can use race and consider race when redrawing congressional maps. Now, the decision could reduce the influence of minority voters, and questions are growing about what it will mean for the future of voting in America. ABC News legal contributor James Sample and ABC's Devin Dwyer are here to break it all down. James, the court ruled 6-3 here in favor of the voters who challenged adding this second majority Black congressional district. So how did the court reach this decision?
Well, Diane, you're right in the sense that that is what they decided. And they decided this case 6-3. And what they essentially said is that although Louisiana had drawn that second district to comply with the Voting Rights Act under the prior interpretations of the Voting Rights Act that have been in place for more or less 60 years, The Voting Rights Act now effectively requires proof of intentional discrimination, not merely what is known as disparate impact discrimination. And therefore, since there wasn't evidence of that intentional racial discrimination, that second majority minority district violates the Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, the net effect of which is to take the Voting Rights Act and turn it from a weapon against racial discrimination into a much less significant version of its prior self.
And James, walk us through that part of it. Why does this do so much to disempower the Voting Rights Act?
Well, what the court did here, Diane, and this was an anticipated ruling, to be clear. This has long been in the sights of Chief Justice Roberts, who, as far back as when he was an attorney in the White House counsel's office in the Reagan administration, long before becoming a judge, much less the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, the court here today effectively constitutionalizes a color blindness principle almost completely, absent the showing of intention. And what that means is that even the remedies for racial discrimination, the remedies that are designed to prevent racial discrimination, are themselves unconstitutional violations of the 14th and 15th Amendments, the irony being that that is what the Voting Rights Act was passed in order to enforce.
And I want to bring in Devin Dwyer, who covers the Supreme Court. Devin, what sticks out to you from the language of this decision?
Yeah, really not a surprising decision, Diane, given this conservative Supreme Court's decision in history of wanting to roll back the Voting Rights Act, as James was talking about there. But this significantly raises the bar now for challenges to election maps as being discriminatory against minority voters. It's going to make it harder to sue in court. And as the dissent puts it in this case, written by Justice Elena Kagan, in her words, it is a completed demolition of the Voting Rights Act. Kagan goes on to describe, Diane, what she says, the consequences that will be far-reaching and grave, in her words. She says, if other states follow Louisiana's lead, in her view, minority citizens residing in those states will no longer have an equal opportunity to elect candidates of those choice. That's a pretty significant statement coming from the three liberal justices in this case who have long insisted that Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act needs to remain in place to protect against the types of discrimination that have been present in this country going back generations.
And I want to bring in our chief White House correspondent, Mary Bruce. Mary, any reaction from the White House on this yet?
Not yet, but certainly President Trump has been a huge supporter of efforts across the country to try and change and redistrict some of these districts ahead of the midterms to try and give Republicans a boost. And look, this decision means that ultimately you could have less minority representation in Congress and in state houses across the country. I suspect the president will have a positive review of this decision, given his efforts to try and change and try and support redistricting efforts, although that has been to some mixed results, we should say, over the last several months. It also comes, of course, as the president has been eager to put additional restrictions on voting writ large. He, of course, has been calling for this legislation requiring proof of U.S. citizenship when registering to vote. He's even gone so far as to say he'll somehow act unilaterally if Congress doesn't. And as the president has been taking steps to really undermine confidence in the voting system ahead of the midterms. But certainly he has been very supportive of these redistricting efforts across the country, all intended to give Republicans a boost in the midterms now just a few months away.
Woo! Hey, once again, if you're just tuning in, I am Jacadero filling in for Brother Koku on Shoot the Breeze episode 239 on the Bitter Medicine podcast. Hit that like button. Hit the like button. Why not? We got to get this in the algorithm. This message needs to go out to like-minded individuals like you. Yes, you, the one that's listening, the one that's watching. And we are dealing with Shoot the Breeze topic number 4. Are Black people are fighting the same fights our ancestors were? And with the video and the Supreme Court ruling limiting the Voting Rights Act, we start off with Black Steel. Why not? Black Steel, what say you? Are we fighting the same fights our ancestors were?
Absolutely. I'm reading a book right now. It's by Derek Bell. He was a lawyer who came up with critical race theory. And he talks about the permanence of racism, right? Is that racism is a permanent feature, right? You can't legislate your way out of it, because whenever you try to legislate your way out of it, right, they'll come up with new and inventive ways. So the Voting Rights Act was actually a response to some of the the things that were done for Black people at the end of Reconstruction. So, you know, at the end of the Civil War, real quick history lesson. At the end of the Civil War, the Southern states who had been defeated in the war, they were divided into 5 military districts, right? And there were soldiers placed in each district. Black people were given, you know, 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment, 13th Amendment ended slavery. 14th Amendment made former slave citizens. 15th Amendment gave Black men the right to vote, right? And they had these soldiers in place to protect the rights of former slaves and allowed them to participate in democracy, so quote unquote. And Black people created, you know, they had their own senators, representatives. There were all sorts of laws passed. And then an event came called the Compromise of 1877. The presidential election was tied. The Democrats and Republicans, they couldn't really decide on who was going to be president. So what happened, the Democrats said, look, we'll let your man be president. We'll let Rutherford B. Hayes become president. But in exchange, you got to remove the troops from the South and let us handle our own affairs. And they said, okay, cool. So the Republicans and the Democrats back in the 1870s made that deal. And every right that Black people had fought so hard for at the end of Reconstruction and Civil War, those rights were gradually rolled back through the courts, ending with the Plessy versus Ferguson Act that said that created separate but equal in the United States. So over time, you know, they fought, they kind of pushed back against those separate but equal laws, you know, going through the court, Brown versus Board of Education, all these landmark Supreme Court cases, Voting Rights Act, Housing Rights Act. But then you got the white backlash. White people mad about this stuff. And over time, they started to gradually chip away at the rights that Black people have won. So we're back in the same place. What this does, this elimination of Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, and this is very clever. I wouldn't say clever, I think it's evil, but basically you have to prove that a district was gerrymandered intentionally to discriminate against another race. You can gerrymander by political party, for example. And when gerrymander basically means you draw lines in a district to benefit one party over another, right? You can kind of cut the districts up, and that way one group can have, you know, more representation than the other. And it's done as a way to dilute the votes for people in that area. And that happened in Louisiana. In the original case, what happened was that there was a second district added because in Louisiana, Black people make up a third of the state, but yet they did not have the representation equal to their numbers. So they created another district. That's when they sued. And that's when they brought this to the Supreme Court, which is what their intention was, right? And it's very funny because what this means, even though Black people can vote, because they've diluted our numbers, we won't be able to use our numbers and our votes to really affect change, which is the intention. And it's done as a way to benefit the party in power, which is currently the Republican Party. These laws can be changed and they can be amended and whatnot, but the purpose of the Voting Rights Act of 65 was to prevent these type of things to happen. To before, it didn't matter of your intent. What mattered was the impact. But now you literally got to catch a white person on camera saying, yeah, we doing this so the niggas can't vote, right? That's not going to happen. So they basically just gutted the move. And then now the midterms, and this is very important, the midterms are coming up. Trump is concerned, the Republicans are concerned about a wave of Democrats in office that could potentially impeach him. You need 2/3 vote in the Senate to convict for impeachment. That's 67 senators. If you can get 67 senators willing to impeach the president, He's out of there. And he knows that. So he's doing everything possible to rig the midterms. And this is just another tool in the tool belt. And it's very, to me, it just shows that, again, racism is permanent. And any step we make towards improving our lives, the white majority will do everything possible to claw that back. So I'll leave it there. Thank you.
I appreciate it, Black Steel. In the chat, Trigger Happy says, if laws are this fickle and susceptible, ooh, Trigger Happy, remember I said about these big words, huh? But it's okay. I went to the library a lot as a child. If laws are this fickle and susceptible to change, why should third world countries have to submit to quote unquote democracy when this happens? Man, that's a great question. That's a great question, Trigger Happy. I'm going to say that personally. Great question. But Buana, what say you from what you've seen with the Supreme Court limiting Voting Rights Act? Are Black people fighting the same fights our ancestors were?
Well, to answer Trigger Happy's question is because they have the biggest stick. That's the reason why they have to submit. They have the biggest stick. But maybe Black Steel can help me with this as I try to suss this thing out. So there are two terms that you hear in this discussion. There's desperate impact and there's intent. So desperate impact was a legal theory that a lot of the civil rights lawyers used back in the day, because they said that, yes, the policies on its face, the laws on its face appear to have neutrality, appear to be neutral. Basically one size fits all. But the impact of the law itself is disproportionately affecting Black people, right? So if the impact was affecting Black people, the conclusion was obviously you should get rid of these laws because it has the impact where it's just affected a certain group of people. So the Supreme Court the Supreme Court in their majority said, well, yes, it may be impacting specific people, but it's the law itself is neutral. So you have to show, because it's impacting your group of people, that we had malice intent in doing that. We had bad intent in creating the law itself. So now you have to show our racism. You have to show we were racist in creating the law intentionally because we wanted specifically to disproportionately impact your group of people. Is that right, Black Steel? Did I explain that right?
Be a law professor.
No, I'm saying, did I explain that right? Because I want to be clear.
You nailed it. Exactly.
Okay, so now the question becomes, how do you show intent if not by impact? Because because if it looks like a duck, and if it walks like a duck, and if it talks like a duck, why are we not calling it a duck? And so it has to go further. You have to now show somebody on tape saying, my intention is to do that. Or I don't know, because if the act itself or if the impact itself is showing you, for years and years and decades, this is the end result. You can't say, well, maybe you just got the law wrong, but our intention was neutrality. So you have to show me being racist. How do you? But see, understanding the state of affairs of not only America, the world right now, and how random people are. You just had a police officer saying how she hates Black people, this and stuff. There's going to be some person, but I doubt that. You can't rely on that kind of thing and a hope and a prayer. But there's going to be some idiot person getting online to say, yeah, we want to do this N-words, and this is why we did this. You can have some person do that, really, and they can get them on tape. Now you'll have this thing called standing. But needless to say, I just personally think that it is a farce, and you can't rectify the law. Sometimes it is a delusion. We were discussing the law last week, and how we get into these diluted arguments of law. But the reality is these people don't really care. They don't care about the law and nothing like that. They gangsters. They bullies. and they're going to do whatever they need to do. My solution for the Democratic Party or people who incline like that is to pack the Supreme Court. I would try to create numbers what is favorable to me, and I'm thinking that the American Congress has the ability to do that. So if the Dems get into office, they pack the courts and get more Supreme Court justices. So now you'll have the dilution of the Supreme Court where it's skewed towards the Democratic Party. You'll have Democratic. I would try to get the most left-leaning judges possible on the Supreme Court to try to stifle off all those right-wingers on the Supreme Court who's creating these ridiculous laws. You know, but I think that Trump is trying to do everything he can because he knows that during the elections in November that he will be rendered a toothless tiger. He'll be rendered a toothless tiger. So you try to get all these things done right now because in the other years of him being in office, he will just be a paper tiger in terms of power. But it is. Let me answer the question. As far as the Black people fighting the same fights our ancestors, yes, because me and Trigger Happy had an argument before in terms of the same thing in regards to time. And Trigger Happy's argument was that in the African idea or ideology, time is circular, not necessarily linear. And you know what? Trigger Happy was right. I guess all these people are right once again. Trigger Happy was right because we are going right back to where we was before and fighting the same kinds of battles. But I say the trick is to correct the thing and correct the thing right. So you don't have to repeat the same things over and over and over again. But as Trigger Happy was trying to convince me back in the day, you know, time in African consciousness, it is circular. It is circular. And I guess that's why we back to fighting the same fights our ancestors. But for me, the corrective measure is to correct the thing so we don't have to repeat the same thing over and over and over and over again. You know, but that's my idea and beliefs on this particular point.
I appreciate it, Buana. In the chat, QW Don says the courts are stacked right, again, politically right in the United States for the next 40 years. It's a wrap. What say you two? Buana, Black Steel.
No, you could still expand the courts. It's nothing in the Constitution that says it has to only be 9. So you could get an expanded court. You could get an expanded court, and Congress has the power to do that. So you could do that. So it's and get a sign off from the president himself. You know, so that could happen. That could happen. You know, but I'll leave it.
What say you, Black Steel? Are the courts are stacked for the next 40 years according to QW Don? And it's a wrap. Is it a wrap for the United States?
I gotta say, it's looking bad. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna say, you know, y'all know I'm all about revolutionary optimism. But unless people are willing to be drastic. So California is already in the midst of changing and gerrymandering its districts in favor of Democrats, right? In Florida, they've gerrymandered the district so badly that Democrats only get 4 seats in the House. Florida is the 3rd most populated state in the country, and they drew the line so that it basically nullifies all the major Democratic cities in the state: Tampa, Miami-Dade, St. Pete, Jacksonville. These are all majority Democratic spaces. Also, a lot of population. They just drew the line so where they just basically diluted all that. Texas is probably going to do the same thing, if not already. Louisiana actually stopped their election to now they've made this Supreme Court decision. The problem I think when he's had these bipartisan issues is that one party tries to play by the rules and the other party just does whatever they want to do. And I think it kind of hamstrings him. Without these, again, the courts and these judges serve for life, right? These judges are served for a long time, and this was always the plan. This is always the plan. Going all the way back to Richard Nixon. This is always the plan. This was what the so-called Southern strategy was about, to roll back the gains of the civil rights era. This is why you see the party flip. This is why you see the majority of the Southern states going from supporting majority Democrats to majority Republicans, because they wanted to erase those gains. So this has been something that has long been in the making. Abortion, Voting Rights Act, gay marriage is next on the chopping block, regardless how you feel about it. Interracial marriage, probably too. Who knows? I know some brothers on the panel may support those two, but I feel like this is a long game. But yeah. But anyways, this is definitely it's we got to fight back. Like Juana said, stack the court. There's nothing that says it got to be nine justices. Why is everything 6-3? I put 20 justices on that motherfucker if I was the next Democratic president. 20 justices on there. You know, run it all back. Bring as many cases as you want. I got 25 people on the court. What you gonna do? But that's kind of why they're doing this, because they know how unpopular their policies are. Gas went up a whole $1 last week. I put $70 in my tank. I'm hurting right now, okay? So a lot of people are angry and frustrated at this current administration. And the Republicans know that. And they're trying to prevent being taken out of power, regardless of how unpopular their policies are. This war is unpopular. The tariffs are unpopular. The cost of everything has increased all this time. And we're not just imagining it. So they're trying to prevent the fair democratic exchange of power. But we got if they're gonna fight, they got to fight back as much vitriol and as hatred as the other side does. You know, they want to try to play by the rules and maintain the semblance of order and democracy and all the other stuff. And the other side, like, nah, fuck you guys. We're gonna do what we want. And I think we got to get in the mud and get dirty like everybody else, if that's how you want to roll.
The crazy thing is, go ahead, Bloxy. Sorry.
Go ahead, I'm good.
But the crazy thing is, what you were saying is true, brother. What you are saying is true. These people they'll bite off their nose to spite their face. I'm saying that even as a Republican person, just the things you described just now. Yeah, gas prices are higher, not only for Democrats. Gas prices are higher for you too. You know, it's like, you know, the cost of living has gone up dramatically. You're gonna send your sons and daughters to go fight and be bullet bags or bullet cushions in Iran now, and you promise them no more forever wars. The man he said, I know the world doesn't like pedophiles. He said that we're going to open the Jeffrey Epstein files. And he is yet to do that. And if he is redacted so much of that information that you can't even read anything in that. I mean, he's lied to the Republican Party as well. So it's like, why would, I used to think that reasonable people would not support that, because any reasonable person would still say, man, this man is not for us. He is for the wealthy. He is for the rich class of people. He is not for the poor. And the poor represents the majority. So even if you were some bubba in the backwoods of Alabama, you know, the fact that a white supremacist is in office, is that enough for you? And many of these people will say, yes, I would rather starve and die. You know, I starve and die as long as who I see represented in the Oval Office look just like me, even though I get nothing from him being out of office. I mean, it's an amazing thing. But like I come to this ultimate conclusion that I guess people are not reasonable. You find a few and far between people who could sit down and think critically and analyze and assess the situation and say, I should vote for my interests. But these people are not going to do it, no matter what. That I don't know. I'll leave it, brothers.
Appreciate it, Juan. Appreciate it. Black Steel in the chat. Goku911 says, yes, the redaction. Now he's bringing info on the UFOs to distract. Man, if this administration knows one thing, it really knows on how to try to get you to focus on things that don't matter. That quote unquote shooting at that White House dinner. If I have to have a personal statement on it, I've never seen something more ridiculous in my life, but I digress. Speaking of ridiculous,
you know what's more ridiculous, Jacadero? He is convinced. He is convinced. Everyone saw Trump took a picture, all right? Took a picture of him pretending to be Jesus. And he is convinced his base that he was a doctor. And you hear people repeating this nonsense. And I'm saying, you can't trust your lying eyes. I mean,
you know, as somebody who is not a Christian, never will be a Christian, and not religious in the Abrahamic context, when I saw that, do you know what I told him? Do you know what I said to the U.S. president?
What's that?
Do me a favor, please. Get out of here. Get out of here, man. Shit, I'm saying.
Get out of here, man. Get out of here. Very, very. Yeah, this administration. It's when they make documentaries about this administration. I fully believe that there are going to be more than half of viewers that are going to not be able to tell the difference between the documentary and a comedy film, because this is been laughable. You got is it Cash App? Yeah, Cash App Patel drinking, having the time of his life during the Winter Olympics. Is it Kristi Noem and her husband wearing fake? What was he dressing up like a woman? This is insanity. Trigger Happy has a laugh just like me. Yeah,
you still have black people during this time saying, "Man, we gonna vote the couch. We voting the couch." I'm like, really?
What's interesting? You know what? I'll leave the comments when I become a panelist again. We're gonna go to Shoot the Breeze number 5. And guys, if you are just tuning in, I am Jacadero filling in for Brother Koku here on the Bitter Medicine Podcast. Shoot the Breeze episode 239. Hit the like button if you haven't already. And also we have a Discord. So not only on Saturday nights do we connect 7 days a week. That's right. 25/8. 25 hours a day, 8 days a week. That's right. We don't stop. Connect with us on the Discord. That's the Bitter Medicine Podcast on the Discord. Connect, build, let's go. I have more than 5 topics. That's right. I was ready. I was like, just in case we didn't get so much of a conversation. Listen, we can go to 10 topics tonight because we're built for it. Let's get it. Let's go into Shoot the Breeze. Topic number 5, and this deals with a video prompt. This should get the conversation going, not only in the chat, but maybe we get some of the women, some of our sisters, to click that StreamYard link and become a panelist for the night, because this deals with you, huh? This deals with you as a sister. What's going on? It's asking, is this freedom of choice, or are we out of our African minds? This was exclusively in the Discord Bitter Medicine Podcast chat. Guys, let's watch the video that goes with this. Sisters, pay attention. Please hit the link if you feel compelled to share your thoughts. Stand by.
This. And she didn't lie not one time. We got to stop this shit here, bro. This shit makes everybody look bad. Why y'all got this on?
Whole culture, baby mama culture, side chick culture, and stripper culture is normalized within the Black community. Just no class, no decorum, no self-respect, no self-decency, just ghetto, ratchet, slum, and hoodlum. Period. Just ghetto, ratchet, slum, and hoodlum. Whew, and then you wonder why other races stereotype us the way they do, this is exactly why. This is exactly why, because you're proving all the stereotypes right by carrying yourself like this and then trying to act like it's okay. Just so fucking ghetto, so classless, so indecent, so slum. Whew. And this type of bullshit I refuse to associate myself with because it don't make no damn sense. It honestly doesn't. Like, look at this. Ass is hanging out, cellulite hanging out, titties hanging out, privates hanging out. Like, what the fuck is this, man? I refuse to associate myself with ignorant shit like this because it's classless. No class, no self-respect, no decency, no morals, just trash. Just nothing that I want to be a part of. So I just can't with this shit. All this stripper culture got y'all poorly influenced like this to where you just coming outside dressed up any type of damn way. It don't make no damn sense, honestly. It honestly doesn't. And if anyone else is not gonna tell the truth like it is, I for damn sure will be the one to do that, period. So I don't give a fuck if people don't like the video or like what I'm saying or agree with what I'm saying or don't agree with me saying this. I don't give a fuck because the truth is the truth. And if anyone else is not going to say it, I damn sure will. So it's the reality. It is what it is, man. I'm tired of this ignorant shit. This is exactly why we get stereotyped the way we do because of shit like this. It's embarrassing.
Now, I woke up this morning to this, and she didn't lie not one time. He got.
All right. I would play that once again, but I think we got the point. Again, that's a video for Shoot the Breeze. Topic number 5. Is this freedom of choice or are we out of our African minds? And that dealt with a video where a woman was doing a voiceover of, I believe that was the United States, a city in the United States. Looks like a club night and, man, leaving no room to mystery, as some might say, some of the most conservative Black people might say. In the chat, Black Steel says, shut the fuck up. Yeah, so ads, we can't like titties anymore. We can't like titties. Hey, well. You know what? Let's start with Black Steel. Black Steel, what say you? Is this freedom of choice or are we out of our African minds?
Man, I hate the moralizing and the Puritan bullshit coming out of African people's mouths sometimes. It's so fake and phony, right? First of all, white people never needed a reason to stereotype us. They was literally lynching and burning Black people alive in suits and military uniforms, right? So to think that the way we behave or the way we might dress is justification for their hatred of us that's some cooning right there. That's some nonsense. For one, I'm not a fan of the moralizing. I'm not holier than thou. I realize that. I'm just a man, you know? If it ain't my thing, but these people who say this stuff, they've never been to Amsterdam, right? They've never been to Appalachia. They've never been around white people that are half naked or anybody else. So to me, it's like this whole, well, this is wrong, and it's just the fuck up. If you don't want to dress like that, that's fine. Most of our people ain't warriors. Most of our people ain't conscious. They're not hurting anybody. Okay? They're not doing. I didn't see any kids around. I didn't see anything that should have prompted this reaction. But okay, whatever. If that's how you feel, that's how you feel. But stop trying to say that our oppression or white people's hatred towards us is a result of our behavior. Because we never needed to behave a certain way for them to hate us. They was out here killing Black men, Black business owners and college graduates, soldiers and dressing in their uniform or their Sunday's best. I thought we'd be past this at this point. I really was hoping we would have moved better than this. And you know what? It looks like they're in a party. It looks like they're outside hanging out. It's a nightclub. You know, so what? So what? I don't really care. It's not that big of a deal. You want to see, if you don't want to, you know what? A turn of the head will give you an entirely different view. If you don't want to look at it, don't look at it. Why do Black people have to be morally upright to be treated as human beings? Why do we have to have some sort of standard or some sort of decorum that justifies our humanity? So it's not even, to me, it's not even a big deal. This is a non-issue to me. I don't know. I guess it's some sort of sorority thing, but I don't know. It just seems like maybe it's just some sort of, okay. She busted wide open in that video. Hold on. She busted it wide open. Anyways, I don't even see this. This is a non-issue to me. I really do feel that, to me personally. Go ahead, Juana.
Wait, Black Steel. You got some questions. You got some questions, Black Steel. Somebody's asking you in the chat. What about being decent for ourselves, Black Steel?
And that's fine. That's fine, right? I don't feel the need to police people's dress. Okay, I'm getting older. I don't even really need to police what people wear. And there's a time and a place to be decent for ourselves. Okay, you should not be pulling up to the line, dropping your kid off at school dressed like this. All right, you shouldn't be. But if you outside at night, it's a party. Who cares? Who cares? Obviously, they're going to a nightclub. They could be going to a dance or something. It's a time and place for everything. Maybe this was the time and the place for it. You know, when we see Black people, Black women half naked during Carnival, that's the place for it. I'm not going to complain about it. So maybe they're just going to a nightclub. I can see if they're going into a job interview dressed like that. Move your head. Anyways, so that brother need to move his head out the way. Shit. Anyway, I'll let brother speak.
I appreciate it, Black Steel. In the chat, Lord of Slaughter said, "Tell him bring it back, bring it." Shit, we can bring it back. All right, hey, Black. Oh, no, not Black Steel. Juana, what say you?
I used to have those kind of like conservative views in terms of looking at the world and things of that nature. I used to have it, but as I get older, I recognize that on a biological level, we human beings are a part of the animal kingdom. And animals, they do something called peacocking. Peacocking, especially at times when they are very young and they want to reproduce. It's a mating ritual. It's a mating ritual. They show their colors in terms of with the peacocks, and they show their colorful feathers and things of that nature. But it's a mating ritual. It's a mating ritual. And when do they do this? They do this when they are young and they can reproduce. The times of reproduction happens. Stay with me on this one. Stay with me on this one. Younger women gonna do this idea of peacocking because they want to attract mates, potential mates. So they're gonna wear their colors, they're gonna show their body parts. And to us, we've been socialized in this conservative identity politics view of the world, not understanding that human beings are part of the animal kingdom. All human beings peacock. All human beings perform mating rituals. So this is what I am looking at on a biological level. And I understand how we've been socialized. It looks kind of weird why does this woman have to have on a blonde wig? You know, in terms of her mating ritual, you know, to attract the mate. Maybe she's trying to attract the mate that has money and is probably a European person. Maybe a black person may be attracted to this, but she is trying to attract potential mates. You know, being a part of the animal kingdom. What I am concerned with is I see a lot of the brothers and sisters, us. We have. It's like I don't know what we eating, but the girls are huge, and I think that in the future it's going to become a health issue and crisis, man. You know, the women are, I don't know if this is artificial, the butt sizes or whatever, but they seem to be very much overweight. They need to lose some of that girth, man. Their eating practices are just weird. But needless to say, I just personally think I'd look at this as a mating ritual, and these women are trying to attract potential partners, and it looks strange to us because this is not our level of, not all of us, because some of us want to see what's going on in the background right now, but this is not attractive to us. But I think that as these women age and come out of the most heightened parts of them being reproductive, you will see them kind of like streamline how they dress and walk around, and it'll be more quote unquote conservative as they get older in age. But because they're young, they're doing a whole lot of peacocking. You know what I mean? They're trying to attract the potential partners and go engage in the process of the human experience of life. And I think that how we've been socialized, we kind of poo-poo this, but not understanding that we are a part of the animal kingdom. And this is just really all what they're doing. And it looks extreme, but we looking at it as older people, judging the young people and doing what we probably would have done back in the day. Because we used to have high top fades and ridiculous hairlines and haircuts. And we engage in peacocking rituals when we were younger. You know, and I think that sometimes we become hypocrites when we get older, forgetting what we did. I wouldn't have done this, and I wouldn't be attracted to this when I was younger. But this is their time, so they feel like this is what's gonna attract their potential partners going forward for the future. So I leave it alone, man. I'm gonna live my space, and I would want to see the homegirl bending over as a 5-star degenerate as well. But needless to say, it's not my time; it's their time. It's their time, so let them do their thing. You know, I'll leave it there, Jacadero.
Black Steel, wanna question just to counter. You know, I have to counter. I have to counter the thoughts. Both of you guys had thoughts that said basically, yeah, you know, it's none of my business really. Is this something that you would want your teenage daughter to be viewing and be influenced as far as being a model? Is this something that you would want your teenage daughter to say, you know what, if you want to self-express just like this, it's none of my business? Would you respond the same way? Black
Well,
Steel.
I mean, again, we're talking about a teenage girl, right? She's a teenage girl. She shouldn't be out this time of night. She need her ass at home. You know, I would not let her out this time of night wearing something like that. But I'm gonna tell you something. I've seen girls in the school wear stuff. Ooh. Why do you always manage to zoom in that picture, bro? Anyways, I would not let my child out this time of night dressed like that. Once she becomes an adult, I can't control her actions. But you know, if she's a teenager, this is definitely not the behavior that she should be doing. She's in school, she should be at home. You know, Saturday night, you want to hang out with your friends at a certain age, that's fine. You got to be home though. But we got to understand as parents, sometimes, you know, we can only do so much. And, you know, we have to understand that their peers have a strong effect on them also too. So I'm looking at this right now. Okay, yeah, they got booty shorts on and, you know, they're showing the shape and whatnot. But I guess maybe because I've seen so much worse than this. And again, they're out at night. They could be going to a club or a bar. I think they're coming from a concert. We don't know. And I'm not going to judge people's morals. I mean, these people who think that black women are supposed to walk around in ankle-length skirts without showing their bare arms their hair tied up neatly in a bun, like it's Little House on the Prairie. They got to get over themselves. They got to get over themselves. Our people, our culture has never had an issue with the human body, right? That is a European invention. So if we call ourselves Pan-Africanists, we want to get in touch with African ancestry. This is, even now, if you go to there's parts of South Africa, the people or the women are topless, right? And it's nothing. So, I mean, again, we have these European, these Christian norms where we're ashamed of our bodies, we're ashamed of the way we look, we're ashamed of human reproduction. Everything a time for a place. These women come from a club, they come from a concert or whatever. What's the big deal? Chill out. Stop being a prude. Maybe she wish she could shape. She was shaped and had a little body on her. She could wear this, the Catwoman suit. It is what it is.
Black Steel. If I was you, you may not know this, Pops, but when your daughter go out of the house and she have that backpack, check her backpack, because she may be going out that way, but she may have 2 wardrobes. Yeah, she had slip on that blonde wig. Me personally,
she is grown right now. She's grown. She's 25.
Oh, she's grown. Oh,
so
okay.
So I can't really,
Okay.
I didn't. I saw that tattoo on her the first time. I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
I was ready to move some furniture.
Oh man!
Her mother was like, "Calm down. She's grown." I was like, "Okay."
All right, you gotta let it go. You gotta let it go. Yeah, you gotta let it go.
I taught her the way, but I work in. I've seen the young ladies in the school wear stuff like this, and I'm never gonna dress code a young woman. Never, because the first thing I'm gonna say is, "Why you looking?" That's the first thing I'm gonna say. If they out there, I let one of the female teachers, I let the admin handle it. I'm not saying nothing.
Yeah, they to answer the sister here, they call the term is respectability politics, and as Black Steve was saying, in terms of respect, these people are not going to respect you in a 3-piece suit anyways. They're not going to respect you in a 3-piece suit or Brooks Brothers suit anyways. So you can't wait on someone else to respect you. You have to respect yourself first. And it's not to say because a person is wearing an outfit that they don't respect themselves. Like I say, these people are going through I think I call it a mating ritual, really personally. But my only thing, if I was a person with a teenage daughter and she put on that blonde wig, I would feel like as a failure, because in terms of beauty, I would want her to have her own hair, and rock her own hairstyles to express her beauty, as opposed to putting on some blonde wig. I would feel a way about that. I gotta say, I would feel a whole way about that. But as far as young women want to show and express themselves and express their body parts, like I say, many people have done. Many women do that, not just Black women. So it's just respectability politics, and that needs to be questioned and defined as terms of what is respected, what is respectful, and what is decent. What is decent? Where does that term come from? Let's define these terms before we just use these words and just have the implications go all over the place. I think that these terms need to be defined. I'll leave it there, Jacadero.
I appreciate it, fellas. Hey, man, I've been asking for more participation, and imagine I got my request. Shit, I think if it's like this, I think I should be asking for land in Africa, or maybe even a political position in an African or Caribbean country. The way that I'm asking and I'm receiving, huh? Well, what did I receive? I received another panelist. Let's go ahead and welcome to Shoot the Breeze, episode 239 on the Better Medicine podcast. Kofi, welcome. And how are you, man?
Welcome, man. I love your energy. Yeah. Put it out there in the universe.
WrestleMania, don't he?
The reason why I love this, I didn't see the whole video, but one of the reasons why I came there, I mean, Jack Doe, you put that energy out there in the air, but something what Black Steel said was very important. But I'm going to address what Buwana said first about, hey, look, my wife knows how I feel about blonde hair. I can't. Now, if you have blonde hair and it's your natural hair, so there's short. Okay, like Jada Pinkett, you know, she wore or Eve, right? When they wore blonde hair, they wore it with their own hair. It was very short. Me personally, I have no real problem in that. Now, when you want to start looking like Paris Hilton, then we got a problem. You know what I'm saying? Then we have a problem. And when it comes to that, because I have children too, thank God I have two girls. My daughters are not like that. But every time my children do something, I remember what my grandmother said. You make children, you not make their mind. So just because we have children and we raise them the best way that we can, they have their own minds. You know, they're going to make their own decisions, good or bad. But the reason why I came on the panel, not Jacadero, on Black Steel said something that a friend of mine we always have. And it goes into what Bwana was saying, like being respectful, being decent. All these words, depending on the culture, that determines that. So since we're in a Eurocentric culture, we're using a Eurocentric ideology to view our own people. And that's the problem. So when someone says, hey, wow, look, you're indecent. Why are certain traditional Africans and things like that, why they're dressed like that? This and that is happening. And look how they are. They're dressing half naked. Are the women safe? And things like that. I was like, wait. And Black Steel says something like that. We are not ashamed of our bodies. 1, 2. My friend says something, not to be crass. Cover your kids. Kids are listening. Cover your ears. If Africans were walking around with the European sensibility every time you see your breasts or buttocks and stuff like that, and you know we're in the hot African, again, traditional Africans. There were Africans that obviously had clothes. We were talking about traditional Africans that were first hunter-gatherers, right? If we had that, they had a European sensibility, they walk around with hard dicks all day because all they seen is naked women. But they're not like that because they have control. They know when to see women in a certain way at a certain time, right? They're not walking around like that because they understand what the human body is, what it's for, and they have a sense of, what's the word I'm looking for? They have a sense of a time and place and community and how to feel at a certain particular time. Versus Europeans that have to cover themselves all the time. So they see a little ankle that, you know what I'm saying, they're busting in their pants. You know what I'm saying? Same thing going off a little bit topic. Same thing here with, when you look at these Islamic women, these Muslim women looking like ninjas, right? And they like to say, oh, well, it's modesty. So she has to cover herself to be modest. So she shows a little cleavage or a little or a knee. She's a whore. And when you look at these societies, I spoken to Muslim men. I was like, why do they have to cover themselves up? And you're saying, oh, it's tradition, is that to show their modesty, to protect their chastity, but you're wearing Western clothing. Whenever you choose, no one's forcing you to wear that. And when you talk to them, it's you know what, brother, and so, sometimes you know how men could be, and with your wife, make sure your wife is good in safety. Oh, so you're saying that she shouldn't dress like that to protect her chastity or her to be modest. The men in your society are bastards because that's how you're thinking. If you see a woman that she's revealing too much, then you know what I'm saying, something's gonna happen to her. And we have to think about these things. Same thing in Christianity. That's where Islam gets it from. They get it from Christians too, because Christianity is older than Islam, right? This is how these people are thinking. And when we come in and say, look how you're dressed like horse. So Carnival and Caravana, that is an African tradition, right? Mardi Gras, that's an African tradition, how we celebrate and we do like that. And people and Europeans say, oh, you haven't clothes, meaning you're being, if you're a woman, you're being the whore of Babylon, stuff like that. Again, that's their culture, they're imprinting on us. We didn't walk around thinking like that until we were with them. So again, I'm sorry if you feel that I'm rambling because I didn't really see the video. So I apologize, I'm not speaking towards the video. But when Black Steel says something like that, it's and Bwana is very triggering for me, and it goes to show how indoctrinated we are in this European society when someone says, well, you're indecent. According to who? But I'll just leave it in there. Good show. I'm enjoying it. I'm curious to see what you guys would say.
Any response? And appreciate it, Kofi, by the way. Man, thank you for coming on the show. Anybody else that's listening, you want to have your voice heard, become a panelist, click on that StreamYard link. Also, don't forget to hit the like button in case you have not. Guys, anybody that wants
I don't want to. I understand that you have some people who are they lean towards this idea of conservatism and this what they used to call it, Elizabethan kind of ethic, where women should only be dressed in a certain way. But there's other views of the world that human beings should be able to appreciate. It's just not only one way in how to engage the world. And the human body is a beautiful thing. If the human body is well, you don't have to always put it out there and show the human body. Well, maybe you should live in a conservative country or in a conservative space where you don't have to see the human body. But for me, the human body for me is a celebration of life. I don't throw it in the garbage bin. I don't disregard it, but people have different views and you have to respect them. You have to respect people's differences of opinions. But if you are repulsed by carnival, don't go to carnival. Go to a nice restaurant where you could, drink your pina colada, drink your Bahama Mama, and you could go in conservative spaces. You will never have to worry about going to carnival to see scantily clad women and men beating on goatskin drums and things of that nature. So you don't have to be repulsed. Stay away from these places if it's not your cup of tea,
Question, Juana, and also Black Steel and Kofi as well in the chat. Question asked, it's 2026. You three are men, grown men. You okay with your guys' wives dressing like the way that you see in the video in the background? Huh? With the ass cheeks out?
So we're not going to my mom's house dressed like that, first of all. We're not going to the PTA meeting dressed like that. All right. That's just not happening. Again, if we're going out to a club, when I went to the Kevin Hart show, right? One girl was showing some cheeks. The cheeks was kind of poking a little bit. It wasn't like this, but I mean, you're going out to a nightclub, which I don't really go to nightclubs anymore. When I was younger, she would be wearing stuff. We'd be going together. She'd be wearing some tight clothing. So, I really wouldn't care. I mean, ultimately, hell, when I met her, my son's mother at least, when I met her, we went on our first date. She wore something like this. So I mean, I wasn't complaining it. Again, it's a time and place for everything. We're not going to the family reunion like this, I mean, okay, for example, right, when we go to the beach, she wears a bikini, right? My girl wears a bathing suit. It's not a big deal. Her bathing suit shows just as much as this. Again, the time and place for everything. So, PTA meeting, no. Company picnic, hell no. I mean, you're not gonna be going around the picnic at the end of the year or the Christmas party dressed like that. Hell no. That ain't happening. But otherwise, like we're going to like the beach or something like that, I really wouldn't have an issue with that.
Yeah, I'm pretty much gonna piggyback on what Black Steel is saying. It's a time and place for everything. Now, my wife is not gonna dress like that. Or you know what I'm saying? But if anyone is a part, especially if you come to New York or if you're in South Florida and you're part of Carnival, there are a lot of women that dress, you know what I'm saying, in that way, and they're not looked down at. They're doing it for Carnival. So they're doing it for Carnival. Same if you go to Brazil, they're doing that. These are everyday people, right? And again, the time and place for everything. If my wife will only wear certain things because she's with me. So what? My anniversary is coming up or whatever, and we're going away. I'm pretty sure she even want me to look at her suitcase. Why you know my suitcase? Like, well, I was just like, no, I don't want you to see. Like, this is a surprise. Why? Because that's for me. You know what I'm saying? And if we're going out, you know what I'm saying, then yeah, she's with me, but it's not gonna be insane or crazy. You know what I'm saying? So real quick story, my wife is bodacious, you know what I'm saying? And we went to Atlantic City and we we went to a live comedy club, right? Comedy club, whatever. We're in the front row. All the male comedians were just talking about her front bodacious exterior. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, she didn't like that. You know what I'm saying? But it's really dressed up for me. It wasn't even anything crazy. You know what I'm saying? But again, there's a time and place for everything. But if I know women that will dress up for carnival or whatever, and they'll live pretty much a respectable, what we will call quote unquote respectable life through, you know, most of the time. But no, this time of year, that's what they're doing. You know, so again, you have to be, when it comes to the culture, when you see women dress like that in carnival, then yeah. But again, to each his own. Certain women, and I'm looking at the picture right now, again, to each his own. You know, I don't like the hair thing or whatever. But if you out there and you're a single woman, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like Buana said, it's pretty much you do your little mating dance, the man does a little mating call, and that's all that it is. So I really don't look down on people like that. Again, if it's not your cup of tea, is not your type of person who you want to be attracted to, then that's it. No one's forcing you, you know, and I'm not going to look down and really judge people basically, you know, that are single out there, you know, looking for that thing. Look, there's women out there that dress up, go out with their girlfriends, and just to see, do I still got it? I still got it. I know women that just dress up just to drive men crazy. They ain't trying to get no numbers. They ain't trying to hook up or anything like that. They just doing it just because. It's an ego thing with women sometimes, and men too. You know what I'm saying? Certain men are like, you know what? I wonder if I still got it. You know what I'm saying? So look, we can never know what's going on in people's minds just by looking at them. That's pretty much it.
Appreciate it, Black Steel.
You shouldn't judge a book. You shouldn't judge a book by its cover. And unfortunately, well, let me answer the question, Kuku's question. If I describe this whole situation as a mating ritual, and my partner is standing right next to me, why is she still performing the mating ritual? You know, so I'd have questions to say why is she still walking around trying to find a mate if your mate's standing right next to you. But yeah, there was a guy. He was a pastor. I think his name is Jamal Bryant. I think that Black Steel might know who he is. His wife he's a pastor's wife. He's a pastor, and his wife was dressed in a very scantily clad way, and that upset a whole lot of people because they said, well, she shouldn't be dressing like that. And I'm thinking to myself, maybe they might be right. You know, your mate is standing right next to you, so that view that you are given to the world is specifically supposed to be for your mate. But that's my opinion. You know, she may have another view of the world, and I don't want to police her view of the world just because I see the world differently. So you have to respect people's right to do whatever they need to do. You know, like I say, you can't judge books by their cover. You know, you can't judge people by the cover of their books because people may be completely different from how they appear to be. And I think that sometimes we go off of, oh, she looked nice, she's pretty or whatever. But when you get involved with her, you find out she is a devil, you know, in terms of her morality and how she looks at life. And you have some people who scantily clad and this like that, and they'll give you the last dollar they have in their pocket. So, like I say, you can't really judge books by their cover. But I understand that the world doesn't work that way, and you have to sometimes work with the world. So it is what it is.
Okay, this is good. Juana. Okay, so you can't judge a book by its cover. Let me play a little opposite, huh? Let me be opposite on this. You can't judge a book by its cover. But what if the book is wide open? You haven't read any of the pages, but you're like, whoa, look at these photos. I can tell exactly what's going on in this book. You know, I say that to say, you know, when I first got to Omaha after graduating college in Minnesota, I didn't live in the best neighborhood in North Omaha. And there are certain neighborhoods where if you wear certain colors, seriously, that you can possibly be identified with that group. And so should I tell the people that are opposed to those groups, hey, don't judge me, I just want to wear these colors?
We talking kind of about different kinds of things, but you are talking about a high level of ignorance, because you talk about gangs and things of that nature. So that's just ignorance. That's just high levels of ignorance and really in powerlessness. But we kind of having a different kind of discussion right now. People who are trying to exert their power where they really have none, they lead to these insignificant things. Or he's wearing the wrong hat one day, or he's wearing the wrong colors one day. Let me exert my control and power over him and beat him up, or even unalive him, because this is the level of power they feel like they have or have to exert, where they have really no power in their communities and things of that nature. So that's kind of a different discussion, Jack, just a little bit.
Sure, it might be, but can you give it to me? Can at least we be on the same level as far as you can't judge a book by its own cover? How long can we use that excuse before people do judge you? Because at the end of the day, we have eyes. We're just like you said, we are part of the mammal kingdom, right? The animal kingdom. We have eyes, and so usually human beings decide what they're going to do based on sight. Is that
no, Jacadero? You have eyes, but you have a mind. You delineated. Let me use that word. You are distinct from the rest of the animal kingdom, because beyond your eyes, you have the ability to do what? You have the ability to reason. You have the ability to reason. An animal don't have the process or reasoning capacity like a human being. That's why we are at the top of the animal kingdom as opposed to the bottom. So you have to get beyond your eyes, because my cat has eyes as well, but he can't go beyond his physical senses in terms of going in his mind and reasoning, engaging with the person that you physically see may be beautiful. But when you get to talk to her, you understand that she is on a level that you might not necessarily want to continue the conversation. Or she may be an evil individual. You have the ability to process and critically analyze, as opposed to the rest of the animal kingdom who don't have that same kind of capacity and ability. So it's not just the eyes itself. When you engage an individual, it goes beyond that for the human being, as opposed to the rest of the animals.
Yeah, and plus, again, it has to go with place. Like, who's being judgmental at a person at the club? Who's being that judgmental, like our brother Black still said, when you at the beach, when you at the carnival? Now, if we're going to Publix grocery store and you're dressed like that, it's like, okay, what's going on here? Like our brother Black said, if we're at the PTA meeting, okay, what's going on? That's where society, I think, has a valid point as far as how you conduct yourself. Now, me, I have a good memory. I remember in 5th, 6th grade, there used to be this girl. Her name was Anna. Gorgeous. She was like, I think she was like black. Well, Puerto Ricans are black, but she looked good, right? Her father was like, looked like a Booker T. Washington, and then her mother was like just a regular on black woman, right? And I'm not gonna even mention instant why she came, right? People pick on kids, boys. We know how to express ourselves, so we pick on you, whatever. Her mother came, right? This is the children, again, 5th graders. Her mother was dressed in a nice little. This is the 80s now. Her mother is dressed like in a kind of like a skirt, a lot of makeup on. She looked like, she possibly might be working the streets, but probably not. I just remember the guy saying, "Yo, that's your mother?" She was like, "Yeah, that's my mother." And it was like, God damn, like her mother looked, a little, I'm trying to paint a picture in your heads, short skirt, a lot of makeup, she looked like she might have worked the streets, but maybe not. But if children could look at that, again, we're being raised in society and have that type of idea, that mentality, then of course the adults are going to have that, what I'm saying? Because she's coming to school. Okay, you have to come to school, miss. Again, I'm young. Maybe maybe the teacher just grabbed her or whatever, but you're you're in school and you're dressed this way. And she has no, and I think I probably saw her more than once. That's just how the woman dresses. So yeah, people could start having their own ideology of what your mother is, the type of person she is. But hey, her mother likes to wear skirts and wear a lot of makeup. Just in a place like that, then it'll be warranted. But other places, like, nah, I don't think so.
You know what's funny about this conversation? Because we're talking about clothing and appearances. If you ever, anyone on the panel, I don't know if y'all know who Steve Jobs is. Well, what's the other guy from Microsoft, Kofi?
Bill Gates.
Bill Gates. If you never knew of a Bill Gates and a Steve Jobs, you would look at them and think they were vagabonds. You would think that they were on the street, some pasty white guy asking for $1. Because how did they dress? Steve Jobs used to dress in a shirt and some beat up pair of jeans and some shoes that probably cost $1,000, but you think it costs like $4. This is true. And this is the reason why I say you shouldn't judge a book by its cover. Because these guys, despite the fact that they was dressing like hobos, own billion-dollar companies. So this is the reason why I say sometimes you can't judge a book by its cover. There are people who come to this country every year. In particular, a lot of these white guys coming to this country, you would not know that these guys are billionaires. Sol Kersner, who owns Atlantis, or his family owns Atlantis. When he would walk the streets of the Bahamas, don't you know, most people didn't know who he was, but because he used to dress like a vagabond, short pants, a cheap t-shirt, and some glasses, and you would never know he owned Atlantis, $1 billion company. You would never know that if you didn't know he was Sol Kersner. This is, like I say, you shouldn't judge books by its cover. It's not wise to do that all the time. I don't think. But like I said, I understand we live in a modern world, so you have to carry the world sentiments from time to time. But I think that sometimes you have to engage people to see where they actually are, as opposed to looking at them from a distance. And sometimes we are very heavy critics of Black people in terms of how they dress. We more critical than other people in terms of our policing of Black people's attire. It's the strangest thing in the world, but I'll leave it.
In the chat, Provide Trigger says, or ask, what about African Islamic cultures where women are required to cover themselves? Example, in Senegal, where women are required to cover their heads at all times. And then Koku says, in response to what I think it was Buana or Kofi, his ass and balls was Steve Jobs and that guy that wants to eugenicize Africa. His ass and balls wasn't out though. So, man, this conversation can go on and on. I know that it was one that when I looked at it, it was one that was going to be a conversation starter. And it looks like it's not going to end. Let's get into our sixth. Yes. Believe it or not, if you're just joining us, we are having 6, maybe even 7, 6, 7, maybe even 8, Shoot the Breeze topics for the night here on the Bitter Medicine Podcast. This is episode 239. I'm Jacadero filling in for Brother Koku. Let's get into our 6th topic. This is Shoot the Breeze topic number 6. Is Haiti being hidden from the masses? Again, is Haiti being hidden from the masses? I assume they said, is it being hidden? But basically, are people trying to hide Haiti? The context, we have a clip from Instagram. It's a Nigerian man. I believe he lives in the United States. He's pretty famous now because he's been traveling Africa, and it looks like now even the Caribbean. No, it's not iShowSpeed, but a Nigerian man. And he's in Haiti, and he talks about his experience in Haiti. I believe Kofi might be Haitian, so maybe we can get some insight. But again, is Haiti being hidden from the masses? Let's take a look at this video and assess and build.
Because they want you to work all your life and give your money back to them. Because a retirement with no identity is a waste of retirement. They want you to retire with no identity, with no structure, with no ancestral home. This is in Lavash here, the countryside of Lakai. We're in the south of Haiti, living the best of our life. Stop listening to fake news, brother. Stop listening to fake news, sister. What's going on? What's going on? Are you happy doing 2 jobs? Clocking in and clocking out, living like you don't have a life. You're a human being. You are not an AI. You're a human being. You are not an AI. This is the beautiful country they want you to abandon. This is the beautiful country they want you to abandon your identity. The identity that your forefathers fought for. Your forefathers were not weak. They fought for this structure. They fought for this paradise. The prototype of paradise. You are not depressed. You are just in the wrong place. That's your problem. You are not AI. You're a human being. You are meant to live life. Not doing gree. The only thing your brain knows how to do is to clock in and clock out. 2 jobs, second job, weekend job, everything, job. You don't even have family anymore. Because all you do is working. You don't have time for your children. You don't have family anymore. Look at you losing your wife. Because of 2 jobs, 3 jobs. IT is not safe. People here are living life. They are living. They might not be rich when it comes to dollar, but in real life, the true identity of life, they are living. Stop playing. I don't know, man. We are drinking fresh coconut, everything fresh, you know, with my media man. Brother has been doing an amazing job. The image you are seeing here in IT is because of him. Come to IT, Vinny IT, IT Sherry, IT Zone. This is Lavash, the beautiful side. You know why they are telling you IT is not safe? Because they want you to work all your life and give your money back to them. Because a retirement with no identity is a waste of retirement. Even when you retire, you still have to keep working to survive. That's why they are telling you IT is not safe. Because they are not happy that you want to take your money back to IT to develop IT, to build a structure that will give people job. That's why they are telling you IT is not safe. Are you normal? Brother, they want to enslave you the way they enslave your forefathers. This is a mental slavery. It's no longer a physical slavery, but a mental slavery. Dear Haitians in diaspora, come back home and build this paradise. This is the prototype of paradise. I'm telling you, I'm not exaggerating. I'm telling you the way I'm feeling. I'm telling you everything I'm experiencing here in IT. I swear to God. Destroy the camera, I'm angry. You know why they are telling you IT is not safe? Because they want you to work all your life and give your money back to them.
I love it. I love it.
Before we get into the discussion, again, I am Jacadero filling in for Brother Koku here on Shoot the Breeze episode 239 on the Bitter Medicine podcast. Man, we've been building. Yes, there's 6. Imagine we got into 6, and we might even have 7 because maybe somebody in the chat's already jumping the gun on our next topic. But we're going to focus on number 6. Is Haiti being hidden from the masses? Before we get to our panelists' thoughts, Trigger Happy says, yeah, some people didn't like that Haiti and Cuba were not included in Speed's tour. Speed will probably come back, but this Nigerian content creator seems to fill in right. And then the Bitter Medicine is filling in. Know someone who's gone off this convo, send them the replay. Yeah, why not? Koku also says Kofi is guy, and he's Kofi. Man, I don't want peace. I don't want any smoke. I'm just an African. I'm a proud Kenyan.
Nah, we good. We good, man. Like that, I see that as a compliment. Anybody, as long as I'm a part of the black world, we good.
Hey, matter of fact, how about this? We just start with you, huh? How about we start with you? Shoot the Breeze topic number 6. Kofi, is Haiti being hidden from the masses?
Yes, I would say yes. And me, I have a lot of Haitian friends within my wife's family. Like all the on her side of the family, they all marry Haitian men or women. So, and I have a Haitian coworker, a little older gentleman, and he is really pulled back my eyes on what Haiti really is. He knows the history. He knows it's like people like this Nigerian brother. I love the fact that this Nigerian brothers are doing. This is a gold nugget that you found. This is real Pan-Africanism for all the fulfilled by Amazon people, FBA people that say there's no Pan-African, even on people that claim to be Pan-African or not Pan-African. This is Pan-Africanism at its best. Black people going to black countries, promoting black people, promoting our black excellence for black people, right? But thank you. So Nigeria, so Haiti is a hidden gem, and what the Nigerian brother is saying, people think it's war torn, it's horrible, and the crazy thing about it, they think it's not worth going, but right on the next side of the island, people's going to DR. Oh, your DR is the shit. Oh, you're in the DR. Oh, DR. Okay, Haiti's just as good. You know what I'm saying? And they're downplaying, and a lot of people downplay. Hey, I think I saw a TikTok. It was a TikTok or Instagram reel. It was this woman. She had her son. Her son had all these ailments, and he had like asthma and all these things and stuff like that. And he's like, you know what? She said, I'm going back home. I'm going back to Haiti. I'm going to live in Haiti. She said all her son's ailments like just went away, disappeared, went away. Like, it's like, you know why? Because you're home. And it reminds me of what Dr. Clark says. Dr. Clark says, when he's talking about when he visited Africa, he's talking about how everything, people have problems and things like that. But once you're in the incubator of where you belong, this is where you belong, right? Everything just falls in place, right? He said, look at me, I'm having fresh fruit. I'm having fresh coconut. It's fresh. There's GMOs all over the place. Nothing is exactly like you go to the grocery store, you have bananas and you have organic bananas. I'm like, wait. Aren't bananas organic? You have grapes with seeds. You have grapes with seeds and grapes without seeds, right? All these GMOs, all these things that we have, like the brothers say, hey, they may not be rich, but they're rich in the quality of life of the things that they have. And Haiti is gorgeous, as we can see. So they have to push out all this negative propaganda. So Haiti, God forbid if Haiti starts having tourism and surpass DR. Oh, God forbid. We don't want black people who say that they're 100% black, instead of people, some say, me no black, papi, no black, moreno, no black, no negro, no negra. God forbid if on the other side of the island where people are unapologetically black surpasses them in tourism. So all this is a whole propaganda piece. There's a whole propaganda piece. But at the same time, we also have to understand the history of Haiti. And again, pretty much piggybacking off of what the last conversation was, not talking about women and how women are dressed, about how society is and how we view ourselves and how we view other people. So the whole European world is still mad at Haiti for what they did, for what Toussaint did, right? For those who remember years ago when Haiti had an earthquake, I forgot the name of the politician. Some politician said, oh yeah, the earthquake happened to them because of what they did to Napoleon. That's what they get. They're never going to live this down. So to their dying day, white supremacists are always going to say bad things about people. Us as black people, we need to uplift Haitians, Haiti, and the things that they've done. They deserve our utmost fucking respect, right? You can go to a white person. They could be German, right? And we start talking about accomplishments. White people don't talk about accomplishments as far as what the German people did and what the French did. What white people did. They automatically start claiming Greece and Rome. They're German. These are Germanic people claiming other accomplishments of what the Greeks and the Romans did. And they wear that proudly. We need to learn to do the same. Hold Haiti up as again, I'm mad that Haiti's not even a part of the African Union. I'm even mad that CARICOM is not really. We need to do. It's just so much. But again, I'm going off on a tangent. I know I am, but yes, Haiti is a hidden gem, and I'm glad this brother is promoting Haiti and the splendor what Haiti could give and what Haiti could offer. So before you go to DR, go to Haiti. We need to start, Haiti could start a very, very big tourism business that surpasses DR, right? So DR is now starting, it's been about 10 years to have a whole tourism thing going right now. Haiti should do the same, and I'll pass it to someone else. Thank you.
Appreciate it, Kofi. Man, hey, you see that, guys? Huh? You hear that? You hear that pride, huh? From a brother from Guyana, huh? You hear that pride, huh? He said, "I'm just happy that I'm in the Black African diaspora. I love it." And Kofi, you saying before you go to DR, the reason on why so many men go to DR, it's suggested on social media, Kofi, that Kofi in the chat was, or Koku in the chat was saying something about $40. $40 can buy you a lot in the DR, according to social media. But I digress. Buana, you're in the Caribbean. You're a Caribbean man. Is Haiti being hidden from the masses?
Nah. Let me say something positive. I think that more of us within the diaspora needs to travel. I think that Bahamians, many Bahamians, in particular where I am, they don't even travel to the closest island next to them within the Bahamas, and I think that's a travesty. Because in traveling you get an education that schools could never teach you. In traveling, Cuba is 1 hour away from my country, and Haiti is very close to very close. These are the closest islands to my country. And unfortunately, because of propaganda, people would be very fearful of going to Haiti. I have a plan to go to Haiti. If I go to Cuba, I'm definitely going to Haiti, and you see all these videos. iShowSpeed is doing this propaganda exercise and showing the world, showing different parts of the African world. And I think it's a very good job because it builds curiosity in people to want to go to places that they never been before. Not the regular places, but places that's off the grid. And you'd want to see, I know that there are billionaires inside of Haiti. Most people don't know that billionaires live in Haiti. Yeah, Haitian billionaires. Yeah, you have very wealthy people who live in various different parts of Haiti, and they live a life that would make a Westerner very jealous of. But unfortunately, with modern media, you would never see these, especially white media, you never see these kinds of places. So I applaud the independent travelers who go to different parts of these Black enclaves and show that life could be different. I wouldn't want to live in Haiti, me personally. But I would love to visit Haiti. I would love to visit. My intention is to go to Panama, for vacation this year. So I use my passport, extensively, and I think that more of us should use our pass if we have them. I've learned that, Americans have 56% of them don't have a passport. I'm saying, how is that possible? And with Black people, 66% of Black people don't have a passport. That's crazy. I didn't know that, and I didn't know our numbers are extremely large as well. It's like, what's to take you to go pay $200, $300? Well, I guess that's a lot of money for some people to jump on a plane and see another part of the world or another experience, rather than just going to South Florida where you're seeing the same things all the time. You go to the mall, you go to the restaurant, you come back to the country. No, man, you have to travel. You have to reach out to the world. You can't just sit on the internet and just watch people live their lives. You must have a degree of curiosity where you want to experience this different parts of the world as well. And I do know that there are beautiful parts of it's the Caribbean. Of course, they're gonna have beautiful parts. So I don't question it. It's not a hidden thing for me. But maybe for the masses, I agree with that statement. Sure. But I'll leave it there.
Appreciate it, Buana. And for those that don't know, Buana is a big Bahamian nationalist, so that's why he says he wouldn't want to live in Haiti. Also, he's in the past he spoke about Haitians being in the Bahamas, so maybe they've given him a sour taste in his mouth. But
Let's put
Black
that out
Steel,
there.
what say you?
Nah. I gotta fix that, Jackadero. I love the Haitian people. I have no issues with the Haitian people. Some Haitians have a very negative view of Haitians because of immigration and different other reasons. Me personally, myself, I love the Haitian. I have no. They are my brothers, and I am their brother. I don't have an issue with Haitian people whatsoever. I have to correct the Jackadero.
I feel it. It's just jokes. It's just jokes, boy. Now, I had some more jokes, but you got a little sentimental on me, man. Come on, lighten up, man. All right, Black Steel, what say you? Is Haiti being hidden from the masses? Huh?
Well, you got to be careful, man. You got to be careful. Only because parts of any country could be dangerous, right? I wouldn't go to Port-au-Prince, but I'm pretty sure there's parts of Haiti that are very nice that are pretty much kept hidden in secret because the propaganda that has been spread about the country being such a horrible, dangerous place. It's always mentioned, it's the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. They always say that. There's always a caveat to talking about Haiti, how poor it is and how dangerous it is to live there. So I just say all that. I think that, there's parts of the country that are very safe and that are perfectly fine to live in. I think that, on the other hand, you got to be careful where you go. If you go in any country, you got to be careful. But no, I think that much of the information about the island is pretty much kept hidden in secret because, they want to impact the tourist industry. They don't want people really going like that. Stuff like that. I fully intend to go if I ever get a chance. But again, it's real easy to demonize the majority Black country that fought for its freedom and won. It's easy to say, oh, well, don't go there. It's not safe or whatnot. But you can say that about the United States easily. It's about the U.S. There's parts of the U.S. you should never go to, ever. So all that to say, of course they're hiding things about the country. I'm pretty sure there's wonderful parts of Haiti that maybe we don't know about. Maybe I wish we had more information, but yeah, I think overall most people would probably enjoy that and want to go there if they could. But yeah, I wouldn't go to certain parts. I wouldn't go to Port-au-Prince or nothing like that. That wouldn't be safe, I think. But I wouldn't know. I've never been. I'll leave it there.
Appreciate it, Black Steel. Buana. Yeah, man. It's to be honest, I had heard, according to your stats that you had stated that that even more Americans, Black or white, I heard that it was like 40% of Americans didn't have a passport, or I think the stat, it was either that or 40% of Americans haven't traveled outside of the United States. So, but nonetheless, yeah, people in the United States need to travel more. Speaking of traveling, we have some guy that, give me a moment here. We have one guy that is an American that has traveled. I know this is an anticipated Shoot the Breeze topic. Yes, we are going to number 7. Come on, guys, ride with me. Let's build. Come on now, we're burning the midnight oil. And Shoot the Breeze topic number 7 deals with iShowSpeed. And it asks, will iShowSpeed's Caribbean tour grow your interest to building instead of vacationing in the region? Once again, will iShowSpeed's Caribbean tour grow your interest to building instead of vacationing? And this video clip brings us to iShowSpeed arriving in Trinidad and Tobago. And we'll just watch a little bit and, come on, just liven up the mood a little bit, huh? Liven up the mood. Let's do it. Come on.
ChatGPT, can I make?
You can.
How you get on top of there? What? Street big. Get a picture on my phone, please.
The hell? Cat, I heard KFC good here, bro. Cat, I don't tell y'all. Oh, so many people told me KFC is good here.
Oh, brother,
what's good?
Welcome to Trinidad and Tobago, right?
Yes, sir.
You're gonna have a time today. I'm gonna show you almost everything it has to do with the culture, right? I'm gonna try to recreate a carnival for you.
A what?
A carnival.
A carnival?
Stand by. Looks like maybe, just maybe, the current U.S. administration doesn't want me showing you guys Trinidad and Tobago.
Carnival, not carnival. Carnival, say that.
Carnival.
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 Now we're gonna create that carnival, right? Ready to walk?
Yes.
Let me walk.
Why you talk like that, man?
Because I'm excited. You know excited?
Yes, I'm excited.
Yeah.
He talk like this, chat?
Yeah, the boy and the
Partner?
Boy.
Oh, boy?
Yeah. But I like boy.
Let's open up the door. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
One bay.
Bye.
Say one bay.
One bay.
One bay.
They talk like this over here, y'all. They talk with no tongue. I got it. What the hell? What the
Yeah, that's iShowSpeed on his Caribbean tour. Jacadero filling in for Brother Koku here on Shoot the Breeze episode 239 on the Bitter Medicine podcast. Yes, imagine. Yes, we are at Shoot the Breeze topic number 7. Will iShowSpeed Caribbean tour grow your interest to building instead of vacationing in the region? And these scenes that you're seeing on TV or wherever it is that you're watching, show iShowSpeed being welcomed. Look at this. Look at this. He's being welcomed in Trinidad and Tobago. So far, iShowSpeed has touched Dominica, Barbados, St. Martin, Martinique, and then also today he touched down the U.S. Virgin Islands. So we'll start off with somebody in the Caribbean. Buana, what say you? Will
I enjoyed that.
Grow your interest in themselves.
I enjoyed that very much. And if you watch that video, let me tell you something that's interesting. iShowSpeed never been to Trinidad and Tobago. iShowSpeed didn't even know they was having this function. But he could be, if you turn down the volume on this, he could be Trinidadian. He was jumping in rhythm. He was dancing in rhythm. It's like he was just why? Because the culture is so familiar. He ain't like a Westerner coming in there trying to do the dances, and it's like he's just coming in and being included on something that he's so familiar with. He is not like an oddball because he is just meeting his family again. He is meeting his family again without him realizing it. Do I think that I do believe that it is a good representation of tourism and exchange of people coming together and family members coming together. I think it's when Woodamaya went to the Caribbean, it was an awesome thing as well. I love the fact that these travelers are going throughout the different parts of the Black world and showing our story and where we could tell our story to a large audience of people. I love the fact that he is actually doing that. Will it translate into something bigger? Of course it will, because you're going to come in contact with people just like you, just with a different storyline, and the intrigue and curiosity, I'm sure will create something else as well. So I applaud this man and this young man and what he is doing, and I hope he has great success. Obviously he is, and of course it's gonna lead. I think it'll lead to bigger things when it builds a curiosity level with other people who may want to watch and want to partake as well. Of course it will, absolutely. So I applaud the brother and what he is doing. I'll leave it.
I appreciate it, Buana. Man, yeah, that listen, I've watched at least 15, 20 minutes of iShowSpeed streams across these Caribbean nations, and they get me excited, man. They get me excited. Buana, promised me sometime in 2025 that me and my lady are going to be personally invited to the Bahamas.
Yeah, I did. I'm trying to keep that promise. Depending on how the summer goes, if I am still in the Bahamas, I'll be able to keep that promise. But I'm trying to, Jacadero.
I appreciate it. You said that you're trying to go to Panama, so hopefully Panama doesn't keep you in their country and you return back.
No, that Panama is vacation, but somewhere else. I might be out the country, but I'm trying to keep that promise.
Yeah. But just know that that I'm showing up. You don't have a choice. All right. Black Steel. Speaking of choices, Shoot the Breeze, topic number 6. It reads, excuse me. Shoot the Breeze, topic number 7. Will iShowSpeed's Caribbean your interest to building instead of vacationing in the region? I'm laughing because I'm just watching this in the background. iShowSpeed, he's one with the youth. He's honestly the voice of the youth, man. And yeah, question to you, Blackstone. What say you?
Man, this is what we need. We need more Black people building bridges and not fences, right? This is definitely a stark contrast to what's going on in South Africa right now. We're just talking about how the South African are attacking and brutalizing non-South African African people. But yeah, here this young man is going overseas and he's building relationships, he's making friends, and it's just such a good thing to see. I really am happy to see that he's created such a close network of people. So happy about that.
Sorry to interrupt, Black Steel. I'm getting notification as well as I'm hold on. I'm trying to, because I'm getting notification that the stream has been cut. Let me make sure of this. Just give me a moment here. Sorry to interrupt you. I'm making sure that the stream is. I don't know if we still have the stream.
I see it. Looks to be just fine, just me.
Okay. What about for you, Buana? Are you hearing us? Like when you pull it up on another?
I can hear you. I'm in StreamYard, so you have to check. Koku says it's still there.
Okay. So I think it's iShowSpeed's. Yeah, I can't play that. So let me get that.
Yeah, you might have got dinged. Yeah.
Okay. Hey, look at that, huh? His team is working hard, huh? Okay, and it will come back. Okay, so let's just okay. So go ahead, Black Steel. I apologize. I just wanted to make sure that we're still on.
I was just saying that it's just good to see this, and it's really a contrast to what's going on in South Africa. He's being welcomed and he's having a good time. I don't know if they're just doing that because he's a celebrity, but from what it appears, it looks to be a decent time, and it does inspire you to want to spend more time and build connections with other Black people. We all we got, man, but at the same time, we all we need. So I'll leave it there. But yeah, I think this is a really good video. Just happy to see him having fun. And we needed a palate cleanser after that mess we saw from South Africa. Just shameful behavior. So yeah, I like that.
I appreciate it. And yes, for those that are texting me, I won't stop the stream. No. I just stopped the video of iShowSpeed playing in the background. So for those that are still with us, we appreciate you. And you know what this time is, we want to get you guys on with the rest of your weekend, the rest of your Saturday night if you're in the Western Hemisphere part of the world. And how do we do that? Come on now, we got to get the shout outs. We got to get the shout outs. Yeah, we got to get the shout outs. We'll start out with Buana, anything you want to shout out, big dog? Go ahead.
No, shout out to iShowSpeed. That was a very it was a good video, and like Black Steve was saying, it was a palate cleanser. So shout out to all the young brothers that are doing it. Jacadero, you are doing it as well. You know, you're trying to move around and engage people. I appreciate your time on the panel, and you know, it was a good meeting. And Black Steel as well, doing his teaching thing, and all the good brothers who are gonna listen to us later on and listen to the playback, and sisters as well. You know, Shirley, thank you for coming as well. So that's really all I got for the night, man.
I appreciate you, Buana, and big shout out to you as well. Black Steel, any shout outs today? Anybody you want to shout out? Anything you want to shout out? Let us know.
It's been a pretty rough week, man. Shout out to the panel and everything. Shout out to Black people, man. You know, we're resilient because we have to be. We're going to continue to fight. We're not going to give up. So shout out to my people because, you know, we're here.
Man, that's hope everything is well. Fast and full recovery to whatever it is, whether it's literal, physical, social, man, even business wise, man. We want a fast and full recovery for our brother and all of our brothers and sisters, like-minded Pan-African nationalists, because we got to hold the line. Khalid Muhammad said, hold the line. And we going to hold the line as far as my shout outs. Come on now. If you don't already know, I'm Jacadero here out of Omaha, Nebraska, the home of the Empowerment Network. That's what you see on your screen. You should be seeing it on the screen. Hopefully the screen is still showing after we were clipped, showing copyrighted material. But yes, I represent the Empowerment Network, the strongest Black organization here in the Midwest. What is the Empowerment Network that you ask? Come on now, we empower small, mid, and big businesses, not just in Omaha, Nebraska, but our sister cities. Yes, we have sister cities. Houston, Texas, Tulsa, Oklahoma, the home of Black Wall Street, Kansas City, Missouri, Lansing, Michigan, Memphis, Tennessee, and everything outside and in between. Also, yes. The Empowerment Network is hosting their annual, that's right, every year, the Rebuilding a Village Conference. Yes, the Rebuilding a Village Conference, May 8th here in Omaha, Nebraska. Go ahead and get your tickets. We want to see you. We want you to be here. Yes, you that's listening. Yes, you. We want you to be here in Omaha, Nebraska. Connect with like-minded individuals. If you have a small, mid, or big business, whether that's HVAC, electrical, real estate, finance, health, anything of the sort, and outside and in between, we want to connect with you. That's www.empoweromaha.com, the official website of the strongest and largest Black organization here in the Midwest. With that being said, I'm Jacadero, filling in for Brother Koku, and I'm proud to do it. No. I don't think you guys hear me. I'm proud to do it. Why? Because like Khalid Muhammad said, we got to hold the line. We got to hold the line because guess what? Our opposition, they're holding their line, so we got to hold our line, huh? And if you want more energy, if you want more of this energy every single week, make sure you're locked in, same time, same place, as well as a Discord. We have a Discord. Yes, the Bitter Medicine Podcast. Download the Discord app. Look for us, the Bitter Medicine Podcast. You can connect 25 hours a day, 8 days a week. No, not 24/7, 25/8. With that being said, let me stop yapping like the way that the kids say. And hold on, maybe we got one more shout out. Yeah. Hold on, we got one more shout out, Brother Kofi. What say you? What's your shout out for today?
Yeah, my shout out today is to iShowSpeed, showing the world that, you know, saying black unity, black love. I just love that. And, you know, in this day and age, in the Trump era and things like that, this is what we need. Black solidarity. All black people globally seeing each other as one family. That's very important. So shout out to iShowSpeed and to you, Jacadero, for hosting. I love the energy that you have, and, you know, very, very good show, brother.
I don't think you guys understand, man, how proud I am whenever you guys get the chance. Whenever you guys get the chance to connect with people that you might not be able to run in face with each and every single day, man. And that's it. Again, like the kids say, I gotta stop yapping. I gotta stop. Yes, I gotta stop yapping. We gotta get out of here. You guys gotta get on with the rest of your guys' weekend. Make sure that you guys stay tuned, because I mean, it's only getting bigger and better. With that being said, I'm Jacadero, filling in for Brother Koku here on Shoot the Breeze episode 239. This is the Bitter Medicine Podcast. Peace.